Already it's round 4 in the SANFL, and this afternoon it's Central District against West Adelaide. Hello everyone, welcome to what is a beautiful day here at Elizabeth. We're halfway to the Barossa, but it is just magnificent out here at the Elizabeth Oval. And two rookie coaches this afternoon with Tim Ginnivan to discuss, Sean Wren and Roy Laird. Very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think Sean Wren, probably more so than Roy. Roy's had a good involvement with the club over the last few years coaching the reserves, but for Sean coming straight from AFL footy into this, I know he's got Mick Flynn backing him up in the box there, and that'll be pretty important for him as well throughout this first year of coaching.
Well, round 4 action already underway on what is, of course, a very, very long weekend. It started on Thursday night, Port Adelaide against the Bays at the Adelaide Oval, and a pretty good return to form for Michael Wilson there.
Well, he was pretty good last week against Sturt, and he's just continued it on last night there with the Glenelg game, but little Harry Miller kicking himself a nice goal here. But good for Port Adelaide's confidence. I mean, they've lost their first 3. As I said in the call last week, that they really just need to gel with one another. There's enough depth at the club to perform, and it was just getting to know one another, how they play. But Glenelg disappointing after coming off a good win against South to front up at Adelaide Oval. They should have done a lot better, and in the end, tempers flared, but the result pretty convincing for Port Adelaide.
Stephen Williams would be very pleased with the result, and certainly they looked very shaky in the first couple of matches, but a little bit better the other night when they beat Glenelg. You'd say rather comfortably, 84 points. In fact, the Bays only managed 2 goals in the first half.
Yeah, exactly, and they were very disappointing early, and Port Adelaide dominated the game right from the start. Evans kicking 5 goals.
So with that result, the premiership table looks like this. The game that we're centring on this afternoon, Westies in 3rd place. Central's out of the finals, at the moment. It's very early. It's very early.
It certainly is. And Elizabeth Oval, they played extremely well, and I'd be surprised if they got beat here today, and they'd put them right back in the poll.
As we mentioned, Sean Wren having a pretty good start to his coaching career, and last weekend they beat the Eagles by 32 points, and that was down at Woodville. It was quite a good result, as we've talked about.
Well, I reckon the Eagles are a quality side. I reckon they are definitely a candidate for the top 4 because just continuing on their good work underneath Ronnie Fuller the last couple of years. But Westies, that's a really good win at Woodville Oval. Consistency's always been their problems over the last few seasons, and maybe that's what Sean Wren's been screwing for this year.
Well, they've got half a dozen of their premiership players from the under-17s and under-19s last year in the side already, so he's obviously blooding players.
Well, it's a great idea. I mean, they've got great success in those grades over the last few seasons. They've obviously got talent in there, so why not promote them and see how they go and, you know, get games under their belts very early in the season.
Ben Marsh won't be there this afternoon, though.
No, you know, it's one of those things with AFL players, but he was a good player for them last week.
He was indeed. Well, I spoke to Sean Wren just about his coaching career thus far and whether the nerves were pretty much the same when he was coaching or indeed when he was playing.
Yeah, they're different though. It's more or less whether you think you've covered everything and whether you've prepared right for the game. So I think that if you prepare right, you should go in okay. But certainly I've got that pang of adrenaline every now and then that you used to get as a player, yeah. I think that it's been more about the way we play and not the results, and the results have happened because of the way we have played, and I suppose even for today that we just concentrate on the parts of the games that we think are important, and the result will look after itself.
Well, Mark Soderstrom down on the boundary. He's been concentrating on all things to do with both sides, and he's going to join us now.
Thank you, Neil. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, a super day down here at Elizabeth Oval. Certainly a day to rip the shirt off and put the sunscreen on. Now, the big story in SANFL football earlier this year was Roy Laird replacing Alistair Clarkson as coach at Central Districts. Earlier, I spoke with their general manager, Chris Grant, and asked him how the club's coping with that transition.
It hasn't been a problem, Mark. Roy coached our reserves the previous 2 years, then he was on selection before that, so it hasn't been a problem. Roy's aware of our game plan, he's aware of the players and what they can do and can't do, so it hasn't been a problem. It's actually been fantastic.
And Central District's not overly active in recruiting over summer. You're pretty happy with your stocks with the reserves winning the premiership?
Yeah, we felt we had to give the kids an opportunity. We did try and get a key forward, but unfortunately we missed out.
And the weather certainly going to play in our favour today. We've got an expected top 24 degrees, some slight northeasterly breeze expected, but nothing there at the moment. And with this massive ground here and also the weather, it could certainly be survival of the fittest, Neil.
Well, Soda's very fit, and maybe he'll get his shirt off for a percentage of our viewers later on. As we look at the lineup, Central District it's still a very good quality lineup, no doubt about that.
Yeah, great depth at the club. As they said, they won the reserves final last year, so it's about time some of those lads come up and start making their grade. But it's a good lineup again, and they know this oval so well.
And Westies, a very young lineup as we talked about, but of course Darren Bradshaw adds a bit of weight up there forward, and Ben Rutten, crucial at centre half forward, very young man.
Really good spine in the West Adelaide lineup, right from Chubb, who's played some very good football now, established himself at fullback. Dion Miles playing his 100th, Howard, Rutten and Bradshaw. Really good lineup down the middle that can feed off on the sides for the other runners.
Well, earlier this afternoon, this was the result in the reserves game. In fact, Centrals were going forward when the siren rang, and West Adelaide just getting home by 3 points. And as we've mentioned, a very, very young reserves lineup for West Adelaide, so a very good result.
Well, for both sides, Central's extremely young as well, and it's a good result. For Westies, Sean Wren's consideration to just have that depth as well as consistency is what the club's been looking for some years. So that's good stuff for the opener.
Obviously, Central's there just huddling before they go to position. Daniel Schell, pretty much a late inclusion.
Yeah, and that's going to be very, very handy for him. It was said that, you know, perhaps he wouldn't line up because the Adelaide Crows said that the boys might be required, but he's lined up for Centrals. It's good for them and good for him as an individual. Roger Girdham, I just noticed, being the runner this year.
Yes, probably, if he's injury-free, probably fitter than he ever was during his career, I'd imagine. As we see there, Rutten, very important to the Westies lineup.
And Paul Koularitis just warming up there, stretching up. Been on the power list for a few seasons now, and really ready to make his mark in the SANFL and get his opportunity up into the AFL. But Ed Richardson, very important to him. Chris Chubb at fullback, and they really are developing as a team that's started to play together for a few years now.
I noticed there, number 27, Sam Fisher, also out on the ground. Number 27 was worn by Dean Howard last season, but he's decided to dispense with that. We'll get a word from Sodas maybe on why Dean Howard's opted for number 10 this season.
Neil, there could be a chance there that Dean Howard, a very physical player, may perhaps just trying to help the umpires forget exactly who he is.
He's a hard man to forget. We're just about ready for a start in round 4 action from the Elizabeth Oval. Here's Michael Maney.
Thanks, Neil. Magnificent conditions, 3rd versus 5th. West Adelaide, a little bit of surprise, I suppose, that they're in 3rd position, and 5th Central District. After they had the bye, they've only played the 2 games. So looking forward to what should be a great game. Will Grosser, the late inclusion for Ben Marsh, will do the ruck work up against Paul Schooler, who is really starting to stamp some sort of authority in this Central District team. Ball aloft. Important round 4 match in the SANFL. We're just about underway. Terrific conditions, ground in perfect nick. Up they go. Thought Grosser might have just got a little bit of that footy. Free kick in the middle, or is it? Umpire said, give it to me, we'll have another bounce. The ball will bounce pretty highly. Not too much rain about in Adelaide over the last few weeks. Schooler knocked it down. James Gowans tried to burst through. No one can take possession. Bello got it away to Krieg. Krieg's kick up forward, looking for and finding Schell. Well, that's what they would love to see this afternoon. Daniel Schell on the lead and the ball out in front. There it is. Sticky fingers.
That's a real good catch, isn't it? Just going deep into the forward 50. Nearly got past him, but he put his hands up very quickly and snatched a very good mark.
Pretty handy player on him too, Chris Chubb. As Daniel Schell will kick from 35 metres out. A little bit disappointing last week in the Crows win at the SCG. Back to Centrals today. He is a sharpshooter. Just lays it up. Goal umpire has a good look at it. Just the one behind, and you would think Daniel Schell needs to kick those at this level.
He would be very disappointed. It's a set shot, and a set shot anywhere and any level you would want to put away when you're a full forward. And that would have got off to a really good start. Centrals would have been happy with that, but West breathe again.
They bring the ball out to this side of the ground. Reaching over the top was Shane Tuck on debut for the Westies boys this afternoon. Down the wing, target was Fisher, thumped to the front by the Central's defender, and then over the boundary line. Shane Tuck, interesting, son of Michael, the Hawthorn veteran.
Just a little taller by the looks of it, so a bit rangy.
Boys starting on the bench for Central Districts, Richard Cochran, Jason McKenzie and Sam McArdle.
So ball back into play on centre wing. Over the back was Bello. Umpire picked out a free kick. Said that it should go back to Schooler. So Schooler Just really at half forward now. Option is short. Quickly a play on. Booming kick inside 50, aiming for Shell. Was too strong. Chubb signalling perhaps he thought it was in the back, but Shell held his ground according to the umpire and took the mark.
Yeah, it's a gifted little shove, isn't it?
You never know with
Chubb
those, do you?
Yeah, Chubb just getting his body in front and just pushed him under the armpit and got him out of the way. Could have gone either way.
I tend to think from time to time it's one of the blights on the game. All the pushing and shoving and holding and marking contest now. Shell makes no mistake. He's got the entire Central score so far. 1 goal, 1-7. Central's Westies yet to even get into their forward 50.
Well, that's an excellent result for Daniel Shell because he would have been very upset with the first one he missed, but a great kick by Krieg. Really did cover some distance with it. Put it right at the back. And again, Shell taking a good mark over the top of his head as it was just getting away from him. Just disposed of Chubb. And then leant back, took the mark, and made sure of the result this time.
Roy Laird deciding to start Daniel Shell off at full forward. He has been playing in the back for Centrals and then went forward in that game against North Adelaide in round one and kicked 6 goals in the last term. I think his best work is definitely done up forward. Schooler versus Grosser, down, taken by Hahn. Only a scrubby kick. Away they go. Kicked up by Hahn. High ball. Floater. Hereda at the back. Knocked it down. Ratley was there for Westies. Picked up. Kicked by Malinovsky. Went nowhere. Hereda ducked the head. Magnificent tackle. Had prior opportunity. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. Ball swings around to Healy. Dodges one tackle. Away they go. This is Krieg in the centre of the ground. Will kick long. High ball. They go back. Could have been a free kick to Westies. In they go. That was Cooney. Foxed it out. Laid it off, goes to Walton. Walton's high ball. Shell versus Chubb. Shell just works his opponent under the ball. Shell gets the handball off to Gowns. Gowns goes inboard to Bello. Goal! They made a bit of work of it, Centrals. And in the end, good talking, good teamwork. A goal to Marco Bello.
Well, that play started right back in the defensive 50 with Hereda just getting a short kick out after being tackled twice. And some very good hands all the way down the traps to create a very good goal. Good work by Shell here. He's tackled, still gets his hands free, and very good handball by James Gowns to get it into the square to where Bello was. Some really good slick work with the hands in close by the Central District Footy Club. That's a beauty, isn't it? Look at that.
Marco Bello, best and fairest in 1999 when he first came to the club. Dual premiership player, of course. Ball back in the middle. Central still first hands on the ball, very important.
Boys on the bench for West Adelaide, Salam Hassan, Ross Glover and Dom Cassisi.
Interesting, Dominic Cassisi, again a power-listed player, starting on the bench. Ball still remains within the centre square. And again, Centrals look like they'll come clear. No, Westies fighting hard, but again, against the tide of numbers, finally it comes. Slade, his kick in long and low. Now it's come over the back, tackled without the ball, surely. No, umpire calls play on. So Fisher with an opportunity for Westies, goes in short. Inboard, he's found Hahn. Hahn in turn distributes the ball, and Westies will get an opportunity, or will they? Clean bowled was Howard. Now Slade sold something to Krieg that he didn't really want, but he made the most of it. Down towards half forward, over the back, Grosser got his knees to it. Norman got the hand pass out, off the ground went Miles. Only cleared it as far as Thomas. Now Thomas has a look inside 50. Shell on the lead.
No worry.
The danger side's already, ain't he?
Well, that's 3 marks, and he's moving well. And they're going to have to put some more pressure on across that sort of half-back midfield area because, you know, Paul Thomas had all day to deliver that ball, and that does not make it easy for your defenders.
Yeah, Chris Chubb wouldn't like what he sees at the moment back there at fullback. Best and fairest for Westies last year. Now he watches, and if this keeps up, he will get some sunburn on his face as he looks to the sky and watches the ball go over his head. Fortunately for him, it's a stray. Shell has missed, but he has 1 goal, 2 for the afternoon so far. Centrals lead it by 14 points.
Well, it wasn't dissimilar to the first shot he had, and this time he put it to the right side, not the left, but he's got to get one to go through the middle because 1-2 is not a good return so far.
Kick out from half-back is not a good one. Matthew Slade just getting in the gap. Elementary mistakes being made by West Adelaide at the moment.
I think if you're going to go short, right in the corridor, from a kick out, you have to be absolutely 100% with it. And that, to me, wasn't 100%. If Slade didn't mark it, there was another Centrals player there.
They were queuing up. Slade to make them pay. Say no more. First goal to Matty Slade. And in a blink of an eye, 3 goals to the Bullies.
Yeah, that's an expensive one, isn't it? That's a real expensive mistake. Just have a look at this. Just straight up the middle. See, Howard was obviously the target, but there was going to be 2 Central players easy enough to cut that off, and Slade was the first one there. He would have thought that was happy birthday or happy Easter as he put it through.
Well, 13 completed games so far in the SANFL this season. No side that has trailed at quarter time has been able to win. So bad signs early for Westies. Norman just knocks the ball forward. A little bit of aerial ping pong played, and finally Steinberner with the ball. Off the left foot up forward for Centrals. Westies under heavy pressure back there. And they have been pretty much all the match. Malinowski 1 against 4. Look at the Dogs go in as a pack. They work the ball in close. It's come to Quinton Graham. Booms it up long. Grosser sits in front. Chubb is there as well. And Shell beats them both. Well, they put a player back to try and block the lead. And Daniel Shell found a way to get to the ball.
Well, that's fantastic effort. Chubb's got his arm on him, trying to push against him, but he's lost him just at the last minute, just with another push-off. Perfectly legal on that occasion. And the kick had enough on it to just carry that extra couple of yards for Shell. He's got to nail this, though.
He does look very comfortable at this level, doesn't he? He just hasn't quite made the step up yet at the AFL level. Has 2 goals this afternoon. Daniel Shell kicks truly, and Centrals kick away. 4 goals, 2-26. Westies yet to score.
I think it's a bad opportunity. I think he needs, like, you know, just being told you're going to have 6 or 7 games no matter what happens at that level. And I reckon he'd have enough confidence then to say, yep, I can do it, because I reckon he's good enough. I think he's tall enough, I think he's quick enough, takes a good mark, and as long as he can continue to be accurate with his kicking, he's well worth a decent look at that AFL level.
I think he was their go-to player in the Crows, going early. Back in the centre. 26 points the difference. Grosser, who's been manful in the ruck, got it down beautifully to Hahn. Hahn off the left leg. Wobbly ball, Steinberner. Just kicked it off the ground. Bello copped one high, no free kick. Gang tackle, away they go. To Hahn again. Got that from Koularitis. Bouncing ball. Here come West Adelaide, taken by Rutten. Rutten gives the handball off, away, kick forward. Not a good one, looking for Bradshaw, caught behind Ofterhide, who laid it off to Steinberner. So they're out of trouble, the Bulldogs. Ofterhide got it back, the old 1-2. Kick down the line, looking for Walton. Miles at the back. Knocked away, good defensive work. Bello, who's never out of the contest. They dive on the footy. Slade, good tackle. Rolls toward the boundary. Miles takes it over, they'll throw it in.
I reckon there might have been a move made here. Chubb's making his way up forward.
Yeah, Sam Fisher's gone down on full back onto Daniel Shell.
Thanks for that, Soda. Just had the grandstand blocking my view, mate.
Of course you did.
Well, the ball in. Westies fighting hard. Again against the numbers. Howard slips a hand pass to Norman. He looks for a hand pass straight away. Luke Nathan ended up with the ball. Didn't do the best with a kick. Thomas clears. Hahn meets him just as he kicks it. Down towards half forward from behind. Finally, Walton came to ground and went after the ball.
Big leap.
Josh Coulter it was it?
Yep.
Just over the back, couldn't control his leap. So get another bounce at half forward for Central. Seems perpetually to be in that sort of area this afternoon so far. Hahn, just along the line. Well done by Koularitis. Hahn looks inboard. Not the best of kicks, but good enough. Here's Tuck. Tuck's kick was pretty good to Chubb. He's moved up forward, said, take that. I can actually get the ball if I get a chance. His kick didn't really advantage his side. At the front, Malinowski crashes in, comes out.
Great tackle.
Great tackle. Ratley.
Off to Hyde. That was just a brilliant tackle as he came out of the pack. Watch this, pins one arm. You can't do anything with that.
Beautiful work. Got it out back to Thomas. Half back for the Doggies. tried to go direct to Bradshaw, but the kick wasn't good just a moment ago. Long kick by Thomas just to a pack. No one can take the mark. Roved beautifully by Gowans. This is James Gowans. Spearing kick looking for Shell. Oh, can't quite take the mark. Here's Healy. Got the crumbs. Loves the left leg. Dribbles it. Through. Too easy.
Well, that's the sort of thing you do in drills at training. Hit a pack, moving as quick as possible and take the crumbs, and that's exactly what James Gowans did. He delivered it beautifully. Shell should have taken that. Good player at top pace will take that. But Healy was just so quick. He saw the play and he was either going to be front and centre for Shell or pick up the one at the back, and he did it beautifully. Picked it up one-handed and then made sure of it. Always dangerous going along the ground for mine, but was successful.
So Centrals are red hot at the moment. And they've really put Westies to the sword. Dominated pretty much everywhere. Westies again falling over themselves. Out comes Central from the centre. Chris Gowans off the left leg. Kick wasn't the best, and still, somehow, telepathically, it ends up in James Gowans' hands.
Sean Wren just pulling his hair back there, and don't do that as a habit, Sean, because we'll end up all coming out like most coaches. But James Gowans and Chris Gowans, they are amazing, aren't they? They can kick a ball from one state to another and still find each other.
Boys, Cassisi has come on for Mark Ratley for West Adelaide.
James Gowans tests the distance here, I would have thought. Kicks from 51 metres, gets a good hold of it and tugs it slightly left. So a minor score.
Wasn't a bad effort. If he was going to be tested for distance, that wasn't a bad effort. Just to the left. But they still could, you know, they've had a couple of easy shots. 5-3, they could be, you know, easy 7-goal, I reckon.
We're getting plenty of it. What have we got so far? 8 scoring shots to zip. Cooney to do the kicking out for West Adelaide. He'll be one confused man, you would think. Really quite know where to go. Decides to go up the middle looking for Howard. Howard, oh, just put the leg in. Good mark by Howard. And they do want to go short out of half back, and that is dangerous. Short kick finds Miles. Miles down the line. There's a man loose in Piasanti. There's a bounce. Straight down the wing. What's he got up forward? Not too much. Decides to bomb it long to Bradshaw. Bradshaw works his way into the contest. Good mark. Good use of the body against Ofterhide. He's got a few raps on him, this fellow, hasn't he?
He's a solid boy, isn't he, just? And Ofterhide's probably only mistake there was he just went in the air. Once he went in the air, Bradshaw's little deft touch on the side of him just put him out of the contest.
Has kicked 10 goals, 8 so far, so he's been getting plenty of the footy up forward. So he's just over a 50-50 proposition from here. Let's see if he can get the distance. From right on 50. It's a wobbler. Goes toward the line. I think it's got the legs. It has. Well, that'll please a few. Sean Wren is one of those. First goal to Westies, but it's taken them 15 minutes into the first term.
Well, they haven't had a lot of it, have they? And it was pretty important that they got a goal soon. Good play here by Piacenti, just driving it in. But this here, it was a good contest until here. Just lost it, just tried to go into the air. And the little push, you're weightless basically once you leave the ground. And it was just enough to get him off balance, and Bradshaw stood his ground, and he's got good tree trunk legs.
Well, the key forward's doing pretty well so far. Daniel Shell at one end, plenty of opportunities. And now Darren Bradshaw with the first goal for Westies, badly needed. Oh, slick little hand pass from Slade to Steinburner. Up looking for Graham. And the ball will just beat him over the line. Out of bounds on the far side of the ground in front of a scoreboard, which is pretty ordinary if you're a Westies fan.
Just at the moment, the clear difference I can see is that Central's hands in close are cleaner and more effective than Westies. Just don't seem to be able to clear it away from the contest as well.
Ed Richardson ordering his players around. Ball in dispute. Cassisi did well, took it away on the left leg. Probably wanted the boundary. Hay was there and was taken over the boundary.
Tim, thought process, Cassisi starting on the ground in such an inexperienced lineup. AFL listed player starting on the interchange.
I haven't got one for you. I haven't got one for you. I would start him. You know, if you've got an AFL listed player, as good as Cassisi is too, because he's been showing some reasonable form for the Power. you definitely line him up.
Piasanti was first in there in the Bloods colours. Picked up and handed the ball back.
He's got different coloured hair, though, I reckon, till last season, has he?
Yeah.
Yes. It was hard to pick up early.
Ball down and out over the line. Waiting for another change, Soda.
Yeah, boys, Salim Hassan is about to come on. He made his debut this year, so it's his second game. Just about to run on the ground there. He's got the nice shock of blonde hair there, which should attract the attention of the umpires, and he has replaced Nicholas Malinovsky.
Salim Hassan from Darwin, hoping to get into the fray of things. Taken away by Slade, whose kick is up and under. Quentin Graham's there. Ed Richardson, timely fist. That's the experience of the skipper.
Yeah, probably a day that you want to rotate your midfield pretty regularly. It's very warm out there for the players, 25 or 26 degrees today. Very difficult.
Boundary throw in, right in the heart of Bully territory, attacking. Grosser at the backhand. In they go. Handball out. Gowans got it away to Slade. Just back to Healy. Healy from about 55 metres out. Long kick, Daniel Healy. That's his second for the skipper. Just outside 50. No mistake.
Well, Michael and Neil, I was saying earlier about how good they are in close. Creed created it. Look at the quick hands from Gowans there to Slade, and they're out. They're so good at the stoppages. One player earns it, then they give it off and give it off quickly to set up another. And their hands are always pretty accurate, even under pressure.
Daniel Healy, former AFL when it was the AFL Reserves competition in Victoria. Gardner medal winner for the best in the competition. Going back a few years. Ball down in the middle. Again, Krieg, gee, he's been good early. Chubb started in defence. Now he gets it away, and they'll get an opportunity to finally clear the defensive area. Haven't been many opportunities like that. Rutten was strong. Hand pass off. The kick will go to Bradshaw at full forward. Leads out, over the back, off to Heidi back. Bradshaw met hard, and Central's clear onto the far side of the ground. Thomas is clear. Schooler is the target further on, who's leading. He'll go to Schooler. No, he won't. He'll go over his head. And Walton will be pushed in the back, according to the umpire. So a free kick there for Walton on the outer side of the ground. 33 points the margin, approaching time on.
You don't need to give those away because, you know, that's going to be out of bounds anyway, so let it go out of bounds. Don't give a free away.
And towards half forward, plenty of numbers there for Westies, but somehow, as always it seems, it ended in the hands of the Central's player. Richardson fought against the tide. Well done to Cassisi. Another left footer from him. Schooler in front. Ball came to ground. Well done by Rutten, fighting on hard on the ground for the big man. Off to Miles, comfortable out there off the left leg. Looks for Bradshaw, gets his man away from the ball. Inside, he's got a hand pass. Just can't get the arms clear. And away comes off to Hyde. And away comes Centrals from the half-back line.
They work it away. Handball over the top. Slade is the recipient. Slipped. Very quick to the feet. Spots up Walton a little bit too long. No, it's not. He's got it at the fingertips. Off to Chris Gowans. Gowans sits it up. The kick could have been better. Loose ball. Away they go. The handball by Fisher to Krieg, who just laid it off to Quentin Graham. Off a step. Kick might have been partially smothered. Howard just wants to paddle away. Goes with a handball. Dangerous. Cooney knocked it back. Oh, they're under pressure down there. They lock it up to Centrals and keep it in. Walton tried to escape with the foot. He was taken over the line and they'll throw it in. Boy, there was some pressure down in that pocket.
Certainly was, and probably could have done that a little bit cleaner by getting that ball out of bounds. But Centrals will be happy with this. Boundary thrown right in there, deep in their forward pocket.
Ben Walton on shot just a second ago. That finger tipper. Quentin Graham knocks it back into the hot spot. Good play. Taken away by Coulter, who got it to Shell, who got it to Gowans. Thought about kicking it. Goes with a handball. Gets it to Swatala. Swatala from 20 metres makes no mistake. And the Doggies go further ahead. They move to 7-3-45. Westies just the one goal by Bradshaw.
What I really enjoy about watching Central's play is they're so unselfish. You know, there's a full forward. They're normally just so hungry for goals they'll kick from anywhere, but it was all just a relay of handballs to make sure that the right person got it eventually who could have a clear shot. Because both Gowans boys were under enough pressure to give off. And Swatala finished off very well, but got to give credit to Ben Walton in the middle here. The kick from Slade was a little bit big. and he just held his head up and showed some courage.
Boys, Roy Laird rotating the midfield there, Matthew Slade off and Cochrane on.
Slade on the phone there. You'd wonder what you could possibly have done wrong in this match so far if you're a Central District player. There haven't been too many mistakes, Tim.
He's been great, Slade. Always in there at the first ball and creating play. Hard unit. And one of that real important part of the midfield that Centrals has.
Well, somehow they struggle the ball 10 yards forward. Westies, and
Good
now
tackle.
crunch. Great tackle by Cassisi, and Steinburn has been pinched. Don't know that he had a lot of options in terms of disposal there, but
Just had that little bit of a fumble which cost him, I think.
maybe he tried to beat him, but Cassisi certainly wrapped him up. So Cassisi waiting for Bradshaw, who now has a couple of players back in front of him, so he squares it across Cassisi to Norman.
Well, they got other targets. They got Chubb up there, they got Rutten, they got to use them. Not just Bradshaw.
Bradshaw makes a lead, but he's soon chopped off in many ways there. Schooler, so he goes short again. Not the greatest of options.
Yeah, Central's midfielders really done well to get back and flood that forward 50. Westies took too long to move the ball. Now they got problems.
Now they're all sitting high too, Westies. They're out about the 25-metre mark, so not a lot of
They've got to get out of the
leading
keyway.
space.
They've all got to get out of the keyway.
Ed Richardson scanning, eyes ablaze. Seems to be a permanent state for the Richardson boys. Richardson goes in deep, looking, oh, good mark. Miles wasn't really in space. Richardson carried the kick over the head of Miles' opponent, and he reached up and took a good mark, playing his 100th game this afternoon.
You could still say it was a 50-50 ball, and Miles did particularly well to take the mark, but it still wasn't ideal.
I guess part of the Sean Wren style, that he wants them to hold on to that ball going forward and make sure of a best option scenario. So here's Dion Miles. He is a defender, and he's kicked it out in front of goals like a good defender, and he's been picked off.
Schooler, the man taking the mark, just sitting back. Wants to go short to Thomas. Hassan. Oh, gave him one to go on with two. I think that's all part of footy.
Certainly made him earn it. He nearly got to the contest, but there was nothing malice in that. It was well done by Thomas for holding his head up and taking the mark.
If he just went for the arms, that was the way to go. Thomas, short kick. Schooler is just going to take the mark. Too easy. Bello from half back. Kick smothered. Beautifully done by Tuck. Shane Tuck. Picked up by Hassan. The kick could have been better. Scott Cassisi. Cassisi back to Norman. Now Norman wanted to go short and dig to Bradshaw. And Bradshaw will kick from 45.
If we catch another wider view of that, you might see Bradshaw had his mouth guard out, put it in, then he led.
Just a moment ago, it fell out too, and he caught it. So on the lead, so he's having a bit of trouble with the mouth guard.
Well, as long as it's not his teeth. Just his mouth guard, that's the main thing. But look, in the end, Luke Norman had no other option but to go short to Bradshaw. There was nothing in the square.
That's right. Schooler was lurking back there and probably would have taken the mark. So Bradshaw has kicked one, and he kicked that at the 15-minute mark as we tick into 25 minutes. And I might have tugged it, has he? No, good-looking kick by Bradshaw. Goal number 2. Westies get goal number 2, and Bradshaw proving some sort of a target up there. If they can get the ball down quickly to him, Tim, he may kick half a dozen today.
Well, it's all about persistence, and this just keeps him in the contest. That's really good work to keep the ball on the forward 50 by smothering it and keeping it alive. That was an excellent job by Tuck. Norman's little pass to Bradshaw was excellent, and he's finished off. He's doing what a full forward should do. Limited opportunities. Make sure you make the most of them.
Well done to Darren Bradshaw. Still, it's a big lead, isn't it? 33 points. First term, we're well into time on. Krieg out of the middle. He's been very good in this first quarter. Cassisi, in the end, he couldn't get the ball, and Healy dribbled it forward off the right leg. Miles, pretty secure across half-back for Westies. Assesses, waits, decides in the end, well, he can't make a decision. There's not a lot of options, so bombs it long, Dion Miles. Out to the wing. Rutten was the target. Chubb across the front. Over the back is where it ended. Tuck read it best and then couldn't control it. Finally he does. On the ground, hands and knees. Good hand pass. Chubb looks up forward. He'll go for Bradshaw. Bradshaw is off to Heidi under it. And in the end, it comes over the back. Steinburner. Steinburner under pressure. Hassan is penalised for slinging to the ground. Finally, it's off. And away they go again. And Central's another chance to break from the back.
Hopwood got it to Harada. Harada's got a man loose on the outer side in Cochrane. Cochrane goes down the line looking for Walton, can't take the mark. And Josh Coulter's the man who takes it to the boundary. There's Nathan Steinburner. Oh, looked pretty good to me. Good tackle. Anyway, advantage rule was paid there. Boundary throw in. 45 plays 12. Just a 2 goals so far. A 7-goal opening burst by Central District has really set them up in this match. Kasisi wants to grab it out of the ruck. Now you've got to get rid of it if you take it out of the ruck. I don't know, is that a new rule that if you take it out of the ruck you must get rid of it, or is that maybe just in the centre?
I think you've got to be very, very careful about it. I think he was laughing at your comment, but
yeah.
No, you do got to be careful. I mean, that's taking possession and then you've got to use it with prior opportunity, of course.
Ed Richardson uses it to Nathan. Nathan's kick, looking for Hassan. Been impressed with the way he's gone so far. Hassan has got Bradshaw on a very, very long lead. Is going to bounce in front of him. Worked out of it by Off the Hide. No free kick. In they go. Well played, Rutten. Somehow got it to Bradshaw. Can't get rid of it. Only with a very, very poor handball. Under pressure. Steinburner got it back to Chris Gowan. So away go the doggies again. Harada very steady. So plenty of pressure there by the doggies. Kick in by Thomas looking for Hay. Well played by Tuck. Been impressed with his first quarter. Ball loose, away they go. Thomas thought he threw it. Well played by Miles. Kasisi got it back to Tuck. Tuck's got a man running into some space in Koularitis. He's 35 metres out and closing. Koularitis has missed. Well, Westies need to kick those goals under no pressure from 25-35, Tim.
Oh, that's a must. That is an absolute must. I know he's holding his head here on screen, but he needs to really nail those.
28-minute mark of the opening term, and maybe there's another opportunity, at least for Central's. Ball down forward. Walton couldn't control it. Off the ground went Bello. Bello's on his natural side. Left foot steps inside, gets away too easily. The kick was pretty much perfect. And on the chest sliding in, Richard Cochrane.
Well, this is, you're dead right, Neil, too easy. And he did it beautifully onto his opposite side, his right boot, and hit his target. Now, that could be costly because down the other end, Koularitis nails his goal. They're only 4 down. This could be a 2-goal turnaround.
Cochrane will take his time. We've gone past 29.5 minutes in the opening term. 7 goals 3 to 2 goals 1 at the moment. Cochrane in from 45 metres, tugs it to the left. And Central's move out to 7-4-46 and Westies 2-1-13.
He didn't miss that by a little bit, he missed that by a lot, so he was a little bit probably worried about the set shot. Might have to work on those at training, but that's really let Westies off the hook.
Cooney to do the kicking in. So it's 36 points the difference, 33 points the difference, I should say. As Cooney looks for Howard. Well, that's the way he's gone, pretty much all in that first term, but a magnificent quarter of football by Central Districts. They lead 7-4-46, West Adelaide 2-1-13, and a quarter, Tim Ginniver, totally dominated by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, look, I reckon a good 75% of it was, but Westies had their time. They took a while to settle down, but once they did, they controlled the ball a little bit in their forward line. They probably got a couple of more goals and been a little bit closer, but Centrals, when they were going, were very, very good. In close especially, as I said, they got away from the stoppages too easily and deserved their lead at quarter time.
We'll certainly expect that, I suppose. You expect that Centrals are going to team together well. It's what they do. On the other hand, the Bloods, they've really struggled for cohesion, which, considering they've won 2 matches and they had a pretty good pre-season, you wouldn't have thought they would struggle like that.
It's a big effort coming out here to Elizabeth and making an impact, and Krieg was very good for the Dogs early, as you see him driving this one long to Shell. Shell got off to a great start, kicked 2-2 and really should have been 4 because I reckon the shots weren't hard. But the main thing is he's being a target and he's alive up there. And Westies were forced to move Chubb up forward from him, but there wasn't a lot of pressure at that stage from Westies midfield, but they did lift their work rate. But I'll tell you what, Central's in close are very, very good. Here's another one just clearing the pack from Quentin Graham into Shell's arms once again. But they were so good in close, Centrals, and they have been over the last few seasons. Their midfield rotates well and they're very unselfish. That's the thing I like about their forward line especially. They work hard and aren't selfish to give off. As you can see here, James Gowans in another goal creation.
There's no shortage of options for there, is there? Options for them, and I think that's the thing that in the SANFL there aren't that many key forwards that are going to just control the pack and control the play like Bradshaw has.
Well, he's had limited opportunities, but when he has had them, he's made sure he's kicked the goals, and he's had a reasonable battle with off the height at the moment. As the ball hit the deck, off the height seems to be the better. But here's some real good example of Central's midfield. In close and around stoppages, they're so good. And Daniel Healy being their skipper, experienced player.
Well, we're going to have a listen to the Central's huddle. I'm sure they're pretty happy down there.
Just one man has been pretty happy. He was a little bit critical of the boys using the ball and not being predictable into the forward line from half back. And the reason why obviously Central Districts are in front is because of the unselfish work of the midfield, which he has praised, and the pressure that the midfield has been able to put on West Adelaide has led to some errors.
And just with that kick, I think it was called the kicking defender on the wing. You want that kick from down that area into that sort of area. And that kick too, are on ballers from here then, don't have a spot to present, push over there. Some of my one taken, I said to Slade, the best quarter of footy I've seen him play. James, a magnificent one take early, just when there was a big...
So we can see Central Districts getting off to a flyer. The first time this year West Adelaide haven't led at one of the breaks. Roy Laird very, very happy with his charges there. Just encouraging them to become very predictable, bring the ball into the forward line so they can get the runners to the front of the packs there. They can shark off there and the ball can then go through for goal there or work towards Daniel Shell.
As that Sodas, just to look at those goal kickers, no doubt, of course, dominated by Centrals.
Yeah, Daniel Shell with 2, but could have been 4, I believe. Healy with 2, didn't miss any opportunities. Bellows, Swatala and Slade, and Bradshaw just the 2 for West Adelaide.
Haven't seen the stats yet, but we will now, and I'm sure they'll be dominated by Centrals because Centrals lead by 33 points.
Yeah, well, they had plenty of it, didn't they? And mainly in that handball department where they dominate, but lots of stats, and early inside 50 they dominated, but Westies, as I said, came back late in that term to be 11-9 down.
Just a reminder that coming up this weekend, or at least this Friday, on Anzac Day, live, we'll have the replay, or at least the rematch of the grand finalists, Centrals and Sturt. What a memorable day it was for the Double Blues, the club breaking a 26-year premiership drought to finally crack the big one. And boy, they've been over a fair off-season of turmoil, you could say, with the Bali bombing, of course, but that day was something to remember, and I'm sure Anzac Day will be something to remember for the Sturt Football Club up against Centrals on Friday at that special time of 2:45. Norwood playing South Adelaide on Friday night, and then on Saturday afternoon, North versus the Eagles at Prospect is our game. Westies up against the Bays. Plenty to look forward to.
Great weekend of football, isn't it? And to be able to cover 2 of those games in the weekend is a pleasure.
Yes, plenty to look forward to, as we said. And we're down to Sodas now. He's got an interview for us.
Boys, I'm with Central District's superstar, Simon Arnott. Simon, a great start for the boys there.
Yeah, it was a good start. To get on top in the midfield against West Adelaide, who've got a pretty good midfield. It's always a positive.
And you've done a drive during the week with training. How long until we expect to see you back out here?
It was a bit of a precaution, probably not to play this week. So I'd hopefully be right for the Anzac Day clash against next week.
All right, good luck with it, Simon. Hope to see you then.
Thanks.
Simon Arnott there. Richard Williams is the umpire with the ball tucked under his arm, ready to start the second term. He's obviously just waiting for, among other people, Sodas and Simon Arnott to come off the ground. It's not bad, Tim, when you can rest a player like Simon Arnott.
Yeah, well, a driver's a dangerous injury, and if he's only just strained it, then it's probably best to rest him and be precautionary, because if you do actually tear one, you're up to anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks out. So they're a dangerous injury, and probably the right thing to do, resting him.
Well, I guess there's a short break too before that Anzac Day match. As we look to the second quarter, here's Michael Maney.
33 points the difference in the favour of the Bullies. At quarter time, we enter the second term underway. Grosser versus Schooler. Schooler might have got the best of that. In the centre, Dom Cassisi just wraps up a couple. The man on the bottom of that pack looked like Adam Swatala, I think. And he just comes out of that. Good lead, good first term by the Bulldogs. Can West Adelaide get back into this match? A couple of quick goals would help. Schooler got it down to Gowans. High ball. No one can take it. Miles was there. Locks up Healy. Thought he might have thrown it. Poplisha got it to, it looked like Nathan. Ball tucked underneath. Somehow the ball pops out. In they go. All played by Schooler, who got it to Slade. Slade, short kick to Healy. So they work it forward again, do the Bullies. Healy on centre wing. Looks at the crowded forward line and just decides to lob it long, hoping Shell can take the mark. In they go. Good mark by Chubb.
That's excellent. That's more like Chubb coming across the front, taking the mark, dictating play.
He's floated in from the side. He's back in defence in this term. Kicks down the lines, looking for Grosser. Roving was Healy. Up against Rutten. No one can take possession. Healy knocked it forward. Nathan thought he got a push in the back. Umpire was right on the spot. Said, give it to me. Played for it, didn't get it.
Just have a look at this one again. It's a good tackle. He's taken the ball to ground. Just got to be careful you don't ride him in the middle of the back, but it wasn't too bad.
Well, the umpire was in the perfect position to give that decision. Bello squeezed it out somehow. Walton. Just a toe poke. You go to the boundary. Oh, that was pretty dangerous, and the umpire's going to give a free kick.
It's knocked him out. You could just tell straight away, get his mouth guard out.
Yep, that
absolutely
is dangerous.
Oh, wow.
Well, the ball was effectively dead. Have a look at that.
Cooney's hit him with everything. And that, he was instantly knocked out. I hope he's okay. They've got to look after him. Oh, jeez.
That is sad. You never want to see this on a football field, that is for sure.
I reckon Benny Walton, who did pretty well on Dion Miles here, is just going to soccer the ball and slips that little bit, see him slip. And I reckon Cooney's hip has taken him in the head, and that's really nasty. Yeah. Just see him slip there, and just horrible. I just knew he was knocked out straight away.
Well, young Cooney, yeah, just a little bit unlucky there, Walton, wasn't he? But young Cooney, the under-17 McCallum medalist last season, and there'll be a bit of push and shove, I'm sure, over that incident, but I don't know, gee, what... aside from the fact that maybe the ball was always going to be over the line.
Correct. He was coming in, I think he was coming in to take him out with a hip and shoulder, but as Benny Walton slipped, it then became head versus hip, and that's what resulted was a pretty nasty incident.
And mighty important that they do the right thing here. The medical staff obviously trained in exactly how to deal with this situation.
I would have thought the team doctor would be down there too. You can see that the eyes are open. I don't know if he's fully conscious, Ben Walton, but it's good to see. At least it looked like he was at least able to talk to the trainers.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't think he'd know.
I don't know what he'd be saying.
That's concussion for sure. Let's just hope he's okay, hope his neck's okay, and he's a great player, Benny Walton.
Sam McCardle ready to replace him. Yes, a big hold up here.
Just sickening when you see this sort of thing. You love the game of footy and you love the hard clashes, but this, anything around the head always worries me. And you can see that the way his arms go stiff, and having seen it.
Well, the umpire was right on the scene, Tim, wasn't he?
Oh, look, the umpire's there, and that's taken him high. And
there goes the mouth guard.
Free kick is definitely the result, I would hope.
They are being very, very careful here, and they've taken their time, and good on them.
Let's hope he's okay.
And on his neck, very cautious about that, because he really did jerk that neck back as well. The man, Ben Walton, you can see him on the stretcher. Let's hope he is okay.
Quite interesting, Tim. Normally in this sort of situation, a long delay, the players all gather as a group of, one side and the other. They haven't done that. They've just retained their positions and just awaiting the free kick to be taken by Matthew Krieg. And look, one of the problems here, of course, at the SANFL grounds, a little bit more cramped than perhaps at AFL grounds, and that's why they're just taking their time to try and get him down the stairs and off the ground into the rooms.
Well, you don't mind how long it takes. Just got to do the right thing.
I think he started moving around, which was the problem, I think, and then they needed to settle him again.
Well, that's, I suppose a good sign. Benny's okay, he's clapping.
Yep, and he's clapping, that's great. Not a good scene, but at least we know that he's okay. Matthew Krieg will take the free kick for Ben Walton. High ball, thumped away. Rattler couldn't get it. Dives in after the football. Well, let's see if there's a bit of heat in this game. As we can see, Cooney's getting a bit of a push and a shove. And let's hope they just get out there and play footy. There goes Ben Walton into the club room.
That incident certainly fired up a couple of the Central District supporters just here in front of us.
I reckon it'd fire up more than a couple too, Mark. In they go. It's just a huge huddle of players. No one can break free. James Gowan's the man with the footy.
Yes, James Gowans was actually pretty fired up by it as well, I believe. He's tried to make his feelings known.
Another bounce. Over goes Coulter. That's a huge lead. Cassisi couldn't break through. It's just a rugby scrum at the moment. No one giving an inch. They'll lock it up there. Just a mass of players around the footy. They all hail for the cab. Umpire's going to pick a free kick. It'll go to, let's have a look.
It took a long time, maybe Quentin Graham.
Quentin Graham. Graham honours the lead from Shell. Couldn't hold on and get a free kick for a push in the back, really, against young Fisher.
Well, Fisher didn't have to do anything here because Shell mucked it up himself. He dropped it. I don't know that there was a lot in that, quite frankly. I wouldn't have paid that at all. Richard. We'll have a word to Richard after the game. We all make mistakes, but in the end, Shell just should have taken the mark anyway.
He's got a second chance here, hasn't he? Daniel Shell will kick from around 40 metres out, only a slight angle. He's kicked a couple. Daniel Shell. Good-looking kick and hit the post. Well, maybe a little bit of justice in that too.
Yeah, well, not a good result for Daniel because that's 2 goals 3 to him now, and just needs to be able to get a high percentage from, you know, what haven't been real difficult angles. Important 10 minutes here because after a long delay like that and an incident like that, it'll just show the courage to get your head over the football and earn the free kick.
Oh, Miles, big lead. It was up Miles.
It was up like a firecracker.
So, ball still to ground. A lot of players around the ball. At least Westie's able to get more players around it now. And ball out of bounds before Rosser could get to it. Look at Miles. Yeah, just slightly bumped as he went up, and he just didn't quite have the balance to get his hands on the ball. So ball will be thrown in the interchange area, right down in front of our cameras. 34 points the margin in favour of Centrals at the moment. Some more aerial ping pong. And certainly since that incident, looks like the Westies boys are certainly harder at it, getting the numbers around, and one of the Gowans boys involved off the ball. Umpires will have their hands full, just as well as 3 of them out there controlling the match. Rosser, and then over the top came Tuck and just knocked it forward. Thomas was over the ball for Centrals, and eventually the ball is out of bounds. So they've managed to get it 30 metres downfield, and the Gowans boys are pretty fired up at the moment.
Yeah, both James and Chris, though, it's okay to do that, but then get in and get the football, which they do well as well.
Well, there's certainly some kicks to be had if you got your head over the ball here, because Cece just toes it forward for Westies. Over the back was Hopwood. Hasn't touched much of it today. Now Hereda taken to ground under pressure. Still it's under him. Umpire will come in.
Neil, I would have paid holding the ball there, mate. He said day and a half to get rid of that, and he's been tackled, and umpire didn't reward the tackler.
Man, in the middle of the screen there, Sean Wren. It's been a good couple of weeks for him to start his coaching career. This afternoon is a real challenge. Central's well and truly down. Wait on the umpire who comes in. He's picked out a free kick slightly behind the play. And it'll go to Central's to Hopwood. Hopwood looks down the line. Not a lot of options. In fact, no options down the line. He's forced to go across the field as Central's try and open it up and run out of defence.
Good Shepherd.
Steinburner is the beneficiary of a great Shepherd. Kick down the line. No one can take the mark. Thomas was there. Hassan. It's the handball to Rutten, who runs onto the footy. Get out of his way. Falls back to Steinburner. Good defence by the Doggies. Westies were pushing forward. Swatala Hassan. Free kick will go to the young man from West Adelaide, Salim Hassan.
He has shown a bit, hasn't he, since he's come on?
Paul Schooler's having a rest, and Jason McKenzie coming on to replace him in the ruck.
Thanks, Otis. Salim Hassan, who's had a bit of the footy.
He likes to get in amongst it, which is great.
Yeah. He's got a bit of toe as well, bit of ability. Short kick, looking for Tuck. Tuck takes the mark, a couple of kicks out from goal. He'll kick long, inside 50. High ball, they jostle. Bradshaw couldn't get it. Over the back, Mackenzie, who's on the ground, to Craig. Craig will go out of defence. Good-looking kick. Away to Thomas. Thomas wants to kick down the line. What has he got? Kicks to a 3-on-1 situation. Over the back, Grosser needed to thump it away. Well done by Tuck, just roved it. Got the handball to Howard. He's got a back pedal. Locked up by Thomas. Great tackle. Crowd calls ball. Think I might agree with you. Anyway, in goes Tuck. Tries to get it forward. Ball's locked up. Umpire says keep going. Force it out of there. Bello gets knocked out of the way. Just a scrum at the moment. Bello.
The Union.
Somewhat how to Healy. Healy, good ball, kick smothered brilliantly, loose ball, Hopwood has got to control it, does, kicks an up and under kick toward the boundary line, Coulter's at the back and thumps away. Well, not too many skills of the Australian rules game on there, Tim.
Well, some good close-in stuff. That's an excellent attempt to smother and got his hand on it. Might have been Coulter, so excellent effort. But some good close-in stuff, hard work being done.
Mackenzie just using his arms and body and palms it down. Oh, well done by Hay. Just got through. What wasn't an effective tackle. His long kick was perfect to McArdle. Inside 51 out of Shell. He doesn't need him. He hands it off and Slade will go into goal. And a goal to Matthew Slade just breaks a bit of a drought, the opening goal of the second term. And Centrals just kick away a little bit. Slade's second.
Well, that's an excellent piece of work by Hay. It needed to be cleaned up, that passage of play. He did it. He got through some tackles. McArdle, good mark and unselfish give off to Slade. And that's a really good lesson for juniors. Slade running at top pace, really compact style. Make sure that he guides it onto his boot nice and close and punches it through for a certain goal. But good piece of play by Centrals to break it open in what was a pretty tough 10 minutes.
Boy, Swatala coming off the ground, being replaced by Richard Cochrane, and Cooney coming off for Westies and on Malinovsky.
Thanks, Mark. Central's away again. Cochrane got it to Bello. Magnificent smother by Porplesia. He's back into it again for Plesia. He's at the bottom of the pack, tries to burst his way through, locked up by Bello. And one of those nasty packs again, and we'll have a bounce.
Westies are certainly prepared to do those one percenters and certainly prepared to do the hard things. And there's Cooney just on the boundary line.
And he's copping a bit from the crowd too, is Cooney. You might have been able to hear that in the effects mic. Play going nowhere. Tuck somehow, just with a long handball just into space. Well done by Koularitis. Got a man inboard. Taken away. Well done by Howard. Howard kicks it forward. Good looking kick. Bradshaw never got a nudge, did he? No. Over the back. Parada. Oh, he's pretty cool customer under pressure. Kicked around the corner. Got the call from Steinburner. Steinburner just went a bit too quick for it. Kicked off the ground. High ball. Taken by Thomas. Thomas can have a bounce. No, he doesn't. Decides to spear it in. Good kick. Looking for Coulter. Couldn't take the mark. Rove by Gowans. That was James Gowans. Porplesia in hard again. He's tackled by Coulter. And the umpire says, it was pretty fierce. Give it to me. We'll bounce it.
Yeah, Westies at times, their entries into 50s. Normally, if the kick's not good enough, the numbers are with Centrals, and the defence of Centrals is really good. I mean, and they do work hard, the midfield, to get back and help out.
Ball on centre wing, slightly favouring Centrals. The bounce, though, was taken away by Westies, and a late call there from Richard Williams, the umpire. Suddenly it's play on, everybody stopped. I don't know if that was a great advantage for Westies. The ball kicked in high by... That was Chris Gowans, and Shell just too strong in the end. Shuffled his opponent out of the way and took the easiest of marks 20 metres out.
Chris Gowans delivering it in. And his one-on-one strength at the moment's been better than his opponent's. Been able to get rid of him pretty easily.
Yes, young Fisher, just 20 years of age, perhaps not quite as developed as Daniel Shell. Of course, Shell coming through the AFL system. His goal kicking's pretty good now, especially from 20 metres out straight in front. That's his third for the afternoon.
Yeah, 3-3 to him, and he's been pretty dangerous up there. But good work by Hay here. Scotty Hahn just held onto the tackle too long. Allowed the advantage to go on. Free kick. Chris Gowans hit that top spot. Better target, better result for Centrals than it was for West at the other end.
a double change by Sean Wren for West Adelaide. Scott Hahn and Dean Howard off, replaced by Piacenti and Norman.
Well, Sean Wren ringing the changes, and so we ought to, I suppose. Cassisi just had it stolen by Thomas. Coming out of that pack was James Gowans.
I could see what Cassisi was trying to do then. He was going to take the ball and spin out of the tackle, but he hadn't quite got hold of the footy before he'd already done his pirouette. So just got to make sure you got that footy.
Yes, he was. His intentions were good, but he couldn't quite get through. Another pack develops and another bounce. So 59 plays 13s. We're ticking to 16. This will be a long quarter due to the Ben Walton issue early in the term. It's the West Adelaide bench. It's Howard doing a bit of stretching. Cooney in the background there, taking a sit on the pine. Grosser, thought he got the best of that. To Piacenti, high ball. Hassan just works his way to the front. Oh, just about took the mark. In they go. Malinovsky, paddled by Thomas. That was good play to Slade. This way, that way. Slade gets a call from Steinburner. That is good play. Oh, Steinburner, that's not good play. Dropped an easy mark. Was good enough to get it back to Hopwood. Over the top to Thomas. Thomas off a leg. Long kick. Miles in best position here in front of Coulter. Just read it best. And Miles will relieve for West Adelaide.
Got Cassisi loose.
Not for long. Takes the mark. Forced to back up and take the kick. Inboard he goes. Ratley, one of the youngsters. Just takes his time. Eventually goes short again. Porplesia. Forced to back up. Dion Miles was prepared to shepherd. In the end, backing up outside the square, looking for the kick. Porplesia goes in long, coming hard on the lead. Malinovsky roves it well. And eventually, they have done well, Westy. They've managed to get the ball on the far side of the ground. Umpire calls play on as Hayes shuts down his man. Then a little bit of tunnel ball. And away goes Centrals. Healy on his left foot. Here's a long kick. Didn't quite get that the way he wanted. Rode by Gowans. Chubb over the ball. Now he's in trouble. Oh, got the hand pass out. Well done, Norman. They share it. Cassisi through the middle of the ground. Cassisi's kick wasn't the best. It was touched off the boot, but even so, it was never going to hit the target. Well, Thomas pulls his kick slightly to Steinburner. Got too much pace for Ed Richardson. Steinburner inboard to Healy. In space. Will wheel around on the left leg. McArdle's running down to his right. He doesn't take that option. He instead goes with the left leg. Puts it up high in front of Shell. Tuck was good across the front. Shell stayed on his feet. In the end, will get a bounce inside 50. Richard Williams, the umpire, will come in and take possession of the ball.
They get outside 50 Centrals and you can see 2 or 3 options as Neil Cross was calling, but West on the other hand with some of their delivery and some of their options hasn't been as many choices.
Well, Slade, perhaps too many options. He took his time there. Eventually got the hand pass off to Bello. Bello sits it up. McArdle comes from behind. In the end, umpire plays too high to Westies and calls play on. So Westies will come clear of defence. Finally, a little bit of room to move. Kick wasn't too bad. It was unfortunately dropped. And Koularitis, I think, is under that pack somewhere over there on the far side of what's affectionately known as the Ponderosa.
Yeah, it just had to be the delivery there again. Hit your targets, it's basic stuff. Make sure that you put the ball where you'd like it delivered from your teammate.
James Gowans is just coming off for a break after running around the midfield, and Adam Swatala back on the ground.
Cassisi for Westies. Long kick looking for Rutten. Herrera's done a pretty good job down there. Rutten just paddles to Hassan. Got a free kick, Rutten, for holding the man. Umpire called play on to the advantage. Koularitis takes the mark. No, he doesn't. Rutten backs up well. Inboard, handball. Malinovsky thought he dropped the footy. Well, the umpires are being consistent at least. Hassan gets slung out of it. Well played. Glover was there. Well done, Rutten. High ball. No one can take it. They just work it out of there. Thomas, who's brought his own football in this term, finds Slade out of side. Slade has got Quentin Graham. Good kick. Finds him in front of Chubb. Wants to go short to McArdle, but Shell's on a long lead. High ball. Shell v Fisher. Might have been a free kick to Shell. Shell good enough to rub it off to Coulter. Coulter, great eyes, looking for McArdle. Throws his own ball and kicks a goal.
That was unreal.
Persistence.
Well, he's a bit disappointed in himself. Oh, it's a bit of a Bit of a laugh, really, because his efforts were amazing to follow up and get his own ball. Great trap here by Shell. Good body work. He handled over the top, tried to get it to a teammate, McArdle, and then ended up cleaning up himself and probably apologised to Sam McArdle for not getting the handball to him. And that's how unselfish the Central's lineup is. But see down there at a half forward where Westies had the throw in and they were throwing the ball around and weren't getting it away. That's the difference between the two sides. Centrals can execute it so well from stoppages.
Boys, highly rated youngster who's earned the wrath of the Central crowd today, Adam Cooney. He's back on, and Luke Nathan having a break.
Cooney just in the lower right of screen coming off the wing. Thomas, another highly rated youngster, just dribbles the ball forward. Tuck, that wasn't a hand pass. Norman received it though, off to Richardson, and then Tuck again. So Tuck, he's got a player running from Koularitis, and in the end, just a little bit slow to get the ball moving. Goes for Rutten. Rutten pulled under the ball by Hereda. Hopwood put his head down. He's in trouble. He is in trouble. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think, Tim?
On impact, probably didn't have a lot of time. I'll have the benefit of the... nah, not a lot of time. He did put the head down, which is dangerous because you can get done holding the ball, but he didn't have any time to get rid of that. Fair decision.
Well trapped by Koularitis. Over the shoulder, quickly looking for Bradshaw. Just tried to prop and push his man under the ball. Off to High did well. Guided it towards the boundary line. And that was a sort of real estate he was quite happy to give up.
Yeah, good defender. Off to High, did the right thing, got it to the boundary line. Came off his knee, and I don't remember kicking the goal off the knee that counted, so it's not out of bounds on the full.
Ball in the forward pocket for Westies. Hasn't been there that often. Oh, too easy. McKenzie out the back. Thomas. He looks good in running, Thomas. His kick wasn't the best. Slightly off the side. Good fly. Right across the front from Mark Ratley. Ratley in turn, his kick found in the middle of the ground, Ed Richardson. Richardson goes for Bradshaw on the lead. McKenzie's across the front. Gets a hand to it. Now Hereda. Hereda's almost run down. Hassan couldn't get a handle on him, and Hereda's kick carries.
Did it go over?
Umpire said no. He was in close proximity, the boundary umpire. Just have a look on replay. What did you think?
Yeah, just inside. Good decision.
Perfect.
Never in doubt.
Absolutely perfect. Boundary throw in. Koularitis can't go through. Malinovsky. You've got to admire the young man's courage. Tried to burst his way through.
He'll get some body strength later on in life. He'll be able to do that then, but he's certainly got the right idea, attacking the ball hard in close.
Well, they have impressed us with their attack on the footy, Westies. That is one thing. McKenzie thought he got the best part of that. Another big pack. So the umpire decides to bounce it again, much to Adam Swatala's chagrin.
He's paid it against him.
Well, I couldn't see what that was for, to be honest.
The only thing I could think of was with holding the ball, and he had it for a while down there, but I thought the Westies players were doing a very clever job of just holding it inside to his chest, and I reckon he was a bit harsh.
You wonder about that rule, don't you? I mean, if the ball's trapped under the guy and he's got legs and arms all around him trying to keep the ball from coming out, it's pretty awkward to try and play holding the ball, but oh well. The umpires are closer and know better than us.
Scoreless in this term. Westies. Don Cassisi to kick their first goal, maybe since the 25-minute mark of the first term. Good looking leg by Cassisi. He's just drawn that back. That's a great kick, is it? No. Just pulled it to the left slightly.
Let's have a look at the kick again. It wasn't a bad leg. Goal umpire Cam always tells the truth.
Yep.
And it was a behind. So they needed it. They really do, Westies. I mean, they're doing a lot of hard work for no scoreboard pressure.
Close to half-time if you've just joined us. Pretty ordinary incident, or ordinary result for Centrals earlier in the quarter, with young Ben Walton going down, hurting himself. Lost about 5 or 10 minutes of play whilst he was stretchered away from the ground. And that's just interrupted the momentum of this match as the ball's on centre wing now. Thomas taken down. Just a reminder, if you want to buy ABC's Match of the Day, you can phone 08 8343 4601 during office hours. Certainly you'd be happy to purchase if you're a Centrals fan at the moment. Westies, they've shown a little bit of fight in this quarter, but they've certainly been overrun by the skills and the pace and the precision of Centrals, and that's created a headache for that box in which sits the coaching staff of the West Adelaide Football Club, led by Sean Wren. The ball down on centre wing again. Taken to ground. We'll have another bounce. Michael, see if you can clear it out.
Haven't had much success in the past. There's a wave. Come on, give us a wave. Yeah, there we go. Just a bit of prompting. That was all it was needed.
He's had a few Easter eggs already, that young lad.
Yes. Outer side of the ground. Taken away. Well done. Cassisi got it back to Norman off of one step. The kick is a good one. Finds Koularitis at half forward. What's he got in front of him? On the lead was Piasanti. Thumped it forward. Here's a chance for Bradshaw. Gets the kick away, but brilliantly mown down. Cooney's in there. Well played by Hopwood, or was that Swatala?
No, it's definitely Hopwood, but fantastic stuff in close here. Bradshaw just about to get a kick at goal. Hopwood running across the front, smothers it off, cuts it well. Well done.
Terrific defence. Great work. 26 minutes gone. Still a bit of time left in the term. Koularitis takes it out. Away goes Glover. Quick handball to Cooney. Gives a bit of ground. Good kick. Good vision. Finds Norman. Just on his distance, you would think. It'd probably stretch him from here, boys. Right on the 50, Luke Norman.
Yeah, I think he was already looking to try and pass off then, so he'll take his time here.
Interchange down there, Mark.
Yeah, Howard coming onto the ground, and he's replacing the big fella in Grosser.
Grosser, she's pretty tough for big fellas today in the heat. As Luke Norman will line up for goal. He's kicked 34 goals in his career. This is a good-looking kick by Norman. Great kick from there, right on 50. We thought it might have stretched him, but goal number 3 to Westies, and they needed that one, boys.
He absolutely blew the distance away in the end. There was no doubt whatsoever that he could make it. It was a powerful kick. And good work here by Cooney. Just got the handball out to him from Glover, which was good work. But goes back Norman and thumps it. Not only does he get the distance, he didn't compromise any accuracy.
Staggering stat is that the Bloods have been inside 50 18 times to Central's 19, and yet it's 7 goals of difference.
Boys, just a report on Ben Walton. He has a nasty gash above the eye, which has been stitched up, and concussion, so we won't see him for the rest of the day, but the good news is he is okay.
Relatively speaking, I'd imagine as Central's come out of the middle, down long, Graham flew, couldn't take the mark, Chubb fumble. Hasn't had a great start to his afternoon. Now Tuck, good vision. Piasanti in a bit of space. Oh, quickly forced onto the left foot. Malinowski met it hard, couldn't take possession.
Great answer.
Now Cooney. Cooney, you get the boos because he ran into Walton, and the Centrals fans didn't appreciate that. Now Koularitis trying to kick around the corner, big ask. Don't know if Bradshaw led to the right position. Pulled his man down, umpire said play on. Hereda took one high, shook it off, gave away the hand pass. And now Krieg breaks from the back, goes to the far side of the ground. Not a lot of options there, just trying to draw a man. Eventually decides Hopwood is the man. So Hopwood looks up, again, doesn't see a lot of options down the line. Just taking his time. Why not? 45 points is the advantage to Centrals at the moment. Hopwood's all but turned that over. He has turned it over.
Yeah, it wasn't a good kick, was it?
Cassisi, he's got men lining up in the centre, and he wants to take his time as well. Meanwhile, Paul Schooler goes back into the hole for Centrals, making it hard for Bradshaw, who leads now. Chubb has fallen down, who has gone down there from defence. And on the ground, still fighting, and finally siren time at half-time. Ross Glover was the boy over the ball, but at half-time, Central's 10-5-65, dominant in this match. West Adelaide 3-2-20, and Tim, take us through the goal scorers.
Goal kickers in the first half. Daniel Shell with 3. Could have had a few more. Healy, Slade 2 apiece. Bello, Coulter and Swatala with singles. And for West Adelaide, Bradshaw 2 and Norman 1.
And of course, the match stats, as you'd expect, I guess, dominated by Centrals, although Westies came back in that quarter.
Look, they held sway, I think, in that second term, but it wasn't a great deal of ground gain by West Adelaide. That was the problem, and Central still dominating around the stoppages.
You mentioned Matthew Slade, he kicked the goal in that quarter, but a suggestion in some areas of the ground that there was a throw leading up to it. Well,
it's not really a slow, it's a throw, it's actually just a give.
You'd be happy with that. A little
how
pass.
We got away with that was amazing. Well finished off though.
Oh yeah, that's Sam McArdle, perhaps forgotten he'd been on the bench for so long he didn't know quite how to do it. Nor did Josh Coulter here, he didn't quite do what he wanted to do.
Oh, he didn't, did he? But an excellent effort to follow up his work and then get the goal.
We look at that, yeah, a little bit more even the second term, but obviously 7 goals to 2 in the opening term, the key for Centrals.
Definitely did the damage there, and that was in the first 20 minutes of that first term, and they were so good in close, Centrals, that eventually something had to give.
Yeah, and a bit of a downer on the whole game. This incident happening early in the second term, it just took the stuffing out of Ben Walton and the whole game.
Well, you know, young Cooney's coming in to give a hip and shoulder. Just as Benny Walton went to hook that ball back into play, he has slipped, and what was going to be a hip and shoulder ended up a hip in the side of the head, which was pretty ugly and pretty dangerous. And luckily, Ben's got a nasty probably headache, bit of concussion, a bit of a split, but he'll be okay. That's the good news.
Yes, the report is that he just has a heavy bout of concussion, and of course the cut above the eye. Well, tipping now, and just a reminder there of our tipping from last week, and Greg Rolack, at least I think the name is, and I can't ask him because it's a long distance call. He's actually from London, the winner last week, so we do get some out-of-towners, shall we say.
Well, that's the beauty of getting on the website and getting your tips in.
We look there at the very close early in the season. David Taylor leading the way. Interesting. Wegwe from New South Wales. We'll attempt to get a full name for him at some stage, perhaps during the season. But at abc.net.au/SA Footy, you can get on the web and get your tips in. And now down to Sodas on the boundary with the Centrals player who looks like he'll be out for the season in Damien Hicks.
Well, thank you, Neil. A devastating blow for the Bulldogs when Damien Hicks did go down with his knee against Sturt in a trial game. Dual premiership player, and he will not be taking the field this year. Damien, how's the operation gone?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Have it about a month ago, and things have come up quite well, actually. It's been good.
And the slow rehab has started?
Yeah, it was a little bit painful at first. You can't walk for a few days, and then things starting to loosen up, and started to ride a bike and stuff like that. So, yeah, things are looking up.
Now, Damien, Roy Laird taking over the reins in January. He's had a promising start so far. The boys have been happy with him?
Yeah, no, Roy's been good since, fortunate departure of Clarko. Roy's basically taken, he hasn't really changed things, majorly, so the boys have just responded, and the team plan stayed the same pretty much.
And one positive sign for Centrals this year has been a number of the younger players finally getting their chance with the retirements of some of the older players like Geister, also Rick McGowan. Some of them have had a terrific start to the season.
Yeah, a lot of the younger guys have played a lot of reserves footy, and a lot of guys played in the flag last year, and they were ready to step up, and they're proving it now. They're playing well.
Now, Hicksy, I did see earlier during the reserves game that you were sitting up in the box. Have you got a role outside of actually playing while you are injured?
Oh, basically just having a look and doing a few matchups on the board for Tater.
Something perhaps you might pursue down the track?
Oh, we don't know about that.
All right, mate. Well, good luck with the rehabilitation, and you'll definitely play on next year?
Oh, I don't know yet. Just do the rehab and we'll see what happens.
Okay, mate. Good luck with it.
Thanks, Mark.
Back to you, Neil.
Thanks for that, Sodas. Gee, it's a tough ask, isn't it, at, 29, 30 years of age to rehab and try and get back?
He's a great player, and he's still athletic enough, and if he decides that at the end of that sort of 12-month rehabilitation that he's got it in him still, it's more so probably about desire, and if he can maintain his desire, then he's certainly physically capable.
So 45 points the margin at half-time. Central's in control, but obviously Westie's looking to come back in the second half. Quite a challenge in front of them, and here's Michael Maney to call it as he sees it.
Thanks, Neil. Plenty of work to do for West Adelaide, and they have lost the last 4 games against Centrals, and Centrals have lost only 3 minor round games since July 2001, and they've been all to Norwood. So West Adelaide, plenty of work to do if they're going to be 4. Umpire holds the ball aloft, underway in the second half. SANFL football, round 4, 45-point lead to the Bulldogs. They nullify each other in the centre, taken by Krieg, who had a great first half. Ball loose for Plisha, gets the handball away. On the end of it, Cassisi, just a fit of the fumbles. Good enough to get the handball out to Piasanti. Piasanti wants to go down the line. Good kick. On the lead was Fisher. And Fisher's gone forward in this term. And Tyson Hay was the man to just put the pressure on.
On the bench for Central Districts, we have Swatala and also Jason McKenzie. Obviously, only 2 players with Ben Walton out for the rest of the game.
Boundary throw in, free kick. Will go to Cassisi. So Dom Cassisi.
He's been reasonable since coming on at 9 kicks and 3 handballs in the first half, so reasonable touches.
has been pretty good. Short kick, good mark by Tuck. We've been impressed with his game so far. Shane Tuck, son of a legend, son of a gun. Michael Tuck, 426 AFL games. Long kick by Tuck. Big pack of players at the back. Bradshaw, rove by Hereda. He's locked up in a tackle. Miles tries to get through. Good enough. Picked up by Hahn. Shot at goal. He is one behind.
They need those quick ones to come off. They need that little break.
Boys on the bench for West Adelaide: Glover, Nathan and Malinovsky.
3 youngsters.
Well, Central's the veterans taking, or the veteran taking the ball. Healy off to Graham. Gee, they break quickly from defence. Graham into the hot spot, looking for Shell. 1, 2 bites, no worries. Daniel Shell will go back and have a look at a goal. And he's already got 3 on the board in the first half.
Neil, earlier you were sort of making comment about the next level for this man. I reckon he's good enough. He's well worth persisting with, I believe, because he's just got those natural instincts of a full forward. He knows when to lead, he knows when to hold. He can actually get rid of opponents reasonably well. Just today he's a little bit 50-50 with his kicking. I think he's got 3-3, so needs to get in front here.
A little bit of Kenny Rogers about that statement. No when to hold, no when to fold. And that time away to the left as he looked at it for the minor score. So
he must have been looking at Dolly Parton when he kicked it, mate.
Yes, we'll leave that one well alone, I think. As Cooney goes short and finds Miles. Yes, I suppose Daniel Shell's a victim of the good early season form by Ian Perry, you would think. Miles, kick out and finds Chubb. Good kick, had to be. Chris Chubb, the vice-captain of West Adelaide. Long kick, just kicks to a pack. Grosser, taken by Cassisi. That's good hands. Off to Howard, good vision. Spots up Hassan. Away he goes. Oh, great tackle by Hopwood. He was away. Krieg, no push in the back. In they go. Ratley was there. So too Richardson. Ball spills out the back. Taken by Howard. Shot at goal is just away to the right. One behind.
West Adelaide now 2 opportunities. 2 goals they really needed out of that. They need to make things out of nothing and create something, because to make an impact on this scoreboard, Elizabeth, you're going to have to do it in this term.
Well, big kick in immediately by Centrals. In a way, they go from defence again. This is James Gowans, 150 metres of space in front of him and Hereda. So he hands it off to Hereda, who then gets a shepherd, and the kick was not the best. Norman able to cut it off. So Norman now looks back. He should have some loose players, you'd think, since Centrals all ran forward expecting a precision disposal. Norman comes, gets another easy start across half-back. Under pressure from Bello. Oh dear, they're just sharing the ball on the far side of the ground and not making a lot of headway. Here's Rutten. Rutten back into centre field. Cassisi is the target. Slow, very, very methodical build-up. You'd like to think that there was some method to it.
Yeah, they've given Centrals plenty of time to get back, though.
And Krieg at the front. And the ball knocked down. Tuck showed some skills, but just couldn't take possession. Here's Cooney. Cooney. Dragged on by Cochrane, but Cooney will take the kick. Oh, Bello, good pressure. Now the long hand pass. McArdle, a lot of space. Question of accuracy. McArdle from 40 metres lines them up and kicks a goal. That easy for Central District. You just wonder about the disposal skills of Westies this afternoon.
Well, I was just about to say, I like little Cooney as a player. This is just a mistake. Great work by Bello. Anticipation, and then to spin out, take the football. McArdle could not let him down. I think he knew that. So he accelerated to make sure that he wouldn't make a mistake with the kick. But it was just a superb piece of work by Marco Bello. Experience over the top then.
Tim Sean Wren giving Christopher Chubb another opportunity on Daniel Shell after removing him in the first quarter and replacing with Sam Fisher.
Leading stats getters at this stage for the Doggies. We have Matthew Slade 15, Paul Thomas 14 and Matthew Krieg 16. And for West Adelaide, it's Cassisi with 14, Tuck and Norman each with 11.
Been good players, all of the mentioned players there, out of the centre. Slade, who got it to Krieg, to Hopwood, just off a step under pressure. Bouncing ball, Gowan's got a push in the back. James Gowans will get the free against Norman. Looks to the forward line. The go-to man has been Shell. Short kick, spots up Slade. Slade will go long, kicks inside 50. The kick chopped off by Hassan, or played by Salim Hassan. Out of half-back. Hassan, not a good kick. Well, they've let themselves down by foot. Short kicks, Watala, and they'll make you pay. Quentin Graham takes it at centre-half forward. They have let themselves down with the short game. They haven't been able to hit a target.
Only one other match this afternoon being played, and Central's to play Sturt on Anzac Day, and Sturt having a pretty good warm-up, as are Central. Sturt leading South Adelaide down at Victor, or in Counter Bay at least, 11-5, 71 to 2 points at half-time.
Quentin Graham just lays back on it a bit and just pushes it right.
Well, that's not making him pay, is it? I mean, you get an opportunity like that, and Quentin Graham's playing a bit of a specialist forward role. He has to make sure that he kicks goals as well. So it's been pretty disappointing on what's been a great day for footy. A lot of goals missed unnecessarily.
Cassisi, great stretch.
Hello.
Just a little bit of dacking there.
A little bit of plumbers showing there.
So, over the top, Porplesia. Just taking his time. This is where they have struggled so much, West Adelaide. Just a disposal from this sort of area of the ground at half-back. Porplesia taking his time. Eventually, short, gets away with it. Howard takes the mark. Oh, and
them two like to go on with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like James Gowans, he likes a bit of a tussle. Here's Cooney. What's his disposal going to be like this time? Bello tests him again, almost gets a touch on it. Puts him under a bit of pressure. Rutten, tackle. Thomas follows up with a good tackle as well. Piacenti taken to ground. Umpire will come in and bounce the ball, and it's still on the half-back line, really, for West Adelaide.
Yeah, most of the forward thrust by West Adelaide have been under pressure, and Rutten hasn't had a great deal of ball on his own, beautifully delivered or anything like that. So he's always been under the pump, as has their midfield. Central's pressure around the ground's been outstanding.
It's been a real step up for Westies this afternoon. They haven't been able to go with one of the class sides of the competition in Centrals thus far, that's for sure. Certainly a steep learning curve after 2 wins to start the season against North Adelaide and the Eagles. Now here's Healy. Gee, they work the ball well. He goes back to Slade. Down the line, his perfect pass. Found Gowans. Looks in field. Immediately Bello. He'll want his left leg. Bello goes off to Graham. Graham sits it out in front of Shell. Chubb leads into the ball. Shell climbs. No free kick. Cassisi, Norman. They work it at the back. Now to Chubb. He'll want the line. Chubb wanted too much of the line.
Good pressure again, just as he's about to kick, got hold of him. Made his kick go out of bounds on the full. It's good pressure by Centrals.
McArdle sits it up in the hot spot. Shell goes from behind, can't take it. Well played by Porplesia, who gets a hurried kick out only as far as Greg, so they reload again, do the Bullies. Short kick by Krieg is a good one and finds Chris Gowans 35 metres out on a slight angle.
Krieg's been doing a lot of the midfield work, very hard at it. And that time he had plenty of time to deliver. Made no mistake.
Quick change for Central Districts. Scholar coming off the ground, Mackenzie on.
Thanks, Mark. Here comes Chris Gowans. Just sits it up. Not too good off the boot. Just makes the square. Oh, Mackenzie kicked off the ground by Marco Bello. A little bit too easy. Just front and square, Marco. That's where you need to be.
Yeah, great Rovers goal. Right in front of the contest. You know something might happen. And he was right there. And had presence of mind because he didn't quite take it cleanly. And he thought, I'm not going to get 2 goes at this, so I might as well just kick it off the floor. So a couple to him now. And, you know, that kick was pretty good too because it keeps it alive. Goal umpire Cam just tells it all. Like I said, didn't quite take it cleanly for his first shot, so he thought, might as well just kick it off the floor here. Not going to get another chance.
I thought the hardest thing he did there was to try and go back and get the congratulations of his teammates. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward from Centrals. And they're out to the biggest lead of the day. 57 points the margin at the moment. Hay works the ball across to Bello. Bello off the right leg, wide. Plenty of space out here at Elizabeth, of course. Out of bounds, though. You do run out of real estate eventually, even out at the Ponderosa.
Boys, for West Adelaide, Sam Fisher doing the ruck work with Will Grosser having a break, and he was replaced by Glover.
So here's Fisher against Mackenzie. Mackenzie from Kapunda. Just tapped the ball, I thought, but Howard intercepted for West Adelaide off the left leg. Scrubby old kick. Koularitis did well to get a hand pass away. Now they work it through Tuck. Now into centre half forward. Good mark. Hassan's shown something this afternoon.
Oh, look, all their kids have. Glover's shown a bit. Hassan, Malinovsky, they've all shown a bit. It's been good in that respect, but you know, look, better sides have come out here. Premiership sides have come out here and got slaughtered. So It is a step up.
As Koularitis taken to ground, and Suatala tried to make some ground to get to him, but in the end, the pass was well weighted by Salim Hassan.
Well, I'd like to back him in here, but he's a little bit tired after the running he's been doing.
No, kick it.
See if he's got a tired leg or not.
Bit each way. Sean Wren on the phone there, we saw briefly. Former Adelaide and Hawthorn AFL player. And perhaps he was a bit tired, just spraying that to the right. Paul Koularitis, minus score for Westies. They need every score they can get at the moment of a major kind.
Well, it's 3 attempts now. And probably
Cassisi,
2 of those
sorry.
should have been goals.
Dom Cassisi just pushing it wide. Thomas out of half-back. The kick, looking for and finding Chris Gowans. Dropped what he should have taken. It's got a man on the overlap. That is Heath Hopwood. Goes down the line. On a long lead is Matthew Slade. Ball out in front. Porplesia did pretty well, actually.
But then
Wants to give it off. Yep, went into trouble. Miles, he's got to put the foot down. Does so. The kick needs to be good and is. Finds Hassan. Wants to give it off quickly. Oh, the kick wasn't good. Gee, they just don't hit a target. Not enough percentage. Taken by Hopwood to Slade. Slade looks at the forward line, dropping back his shell. Up forward is James Gowans. He hits it high. McArdle's going to fly. Shell in, played by Fisher. Well done, got a hand on it. Got his feet sort of tangled up there and then taken to ground by Cochrane, and the umpire said, ball held to him, we'll have a bounce.
Nearly another opportunity for Centrals to steal one. Roy Laird be pretty happy with today's proceedings. Most of the players followed everything they've been told and pretty disciplined.
Yep.
Fisher just knocks the ball well. He looked for a player in the end. Healy just took it away. Cooney was running, but the ball didn't get that far, and Healy calmly slotted his third for the afternoon. It was a set play, Tim, didn't quite work.
Just have a look at this. McArdle, good tap. Look at that, beautiful. Beautiful. McArdle just saw him, left hand inside, and Healy does what West Adelaide haven't been able to do on 3 occasions, and that's kick the goal. Make sure in close, snap a goal. Very accurate, and that's the difference of the quality and experience that Daniel Healy's got over a couple of the younger Westies players who I think have got really bright futures. Just learning how to use that football in close and hit targets at times hasn't been there.
Well, the last beat Central Districts in round 10 of 2001. That was by 50, and their last win at Elizabeth was round 16 of 1999. So it's a long time between drinks. I don't think today is going to be the breakthrough. 3 unanswered goals in this third term by Centrals. Just doing it on the bit at the moment. Mackenzie into the ruck. Over the top was Fisher. Thought he might have got the best of that. In hard. Big pack forming. Howard's there for West Adelaide. And the umpire just says, give it to me again. And I suppose the dam wall was about to really burst open in that second term, and West Adelaide was able to lock the game up similar to this, to just get it into a rugby type scrum.
Yes, but now see the real difference coming out.
Kick over the shoulder. Ed Richardson takes the mark, and that's probably his first contested mark of the afternoon, Ed Richardson. He's a tireless worker on the lead. Malinowski 2 against 1. Don't know about the option. Overrunning the ball was Hopwood. Good enough to get it away. Steinburner kicks down the line. A little bit too far for Bello. Tuck claims the mark, but then brushes off Bello. Reloads it. Inside 50. Bradshaw's going to have to go. Over the back, good thump by Mackenzie. Parada just laid it off to Krieg, who knocks up getting possessions. Good vision to Bello. Healy, another right footer from the skipper. Working his way under the football was Norman. Loose footy, Ben Rutten, who's been pushed back. Miles on the left boot. They're under pressure. They kick to the contest there. Bello just about took a specky. And David Piasanti's kidneys are probably taking a bit of a battering there.
Yeah, both players taking a while to get up. Oh, yeah, that's going to hurt Sunday morning. Just feeling it now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about Sunday morning. I reckon it's hurting now. The ball back into play. And again, Healy involved. Slade involved again, up towards the hot spot. Rutten did well, put his big frame in front of his opponent, McArdle, and now spreads the ball to this side of the ground. Cassisi taking his time. Now plays on, goes short to Cooney. not the favourite of the crowd. Cooney's kick wasn't a favourite for his player, and Kasisi turned over Switala. He's a very good kick, lobs it up pretty well. Well, not quite, just a little bit too long for Chris Gowans. I think his idea was to lob it over the head of Gowans' opponent into a bit of space.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't give him enough opportunity there, but that's what I was saying earlier there, just about their options with the foot. Just kicked it up in the air long enough for a Central's opponent to come in there and chop it off. Just got to be a lot more cleaner with what you do, but Westie's not a lot of targets up forward either, right up the wing side.
Plenty up for that one. Came eventually to Hahn, just did his best to get it outside 50. That worked. Not much else has worked for West Adelaide this afternoon. Eventually it's out of bounds. Defensive end of the ground for West Adelaide, and the margin is 62 points in favour of Centrals.
Yes, it's over the 10 goals, and you would say they've been a 10-goal better side at this stage too, Centrals. Quentin Graham to do the ruck work, got the knockdown. They're queuing up. Greg got it to James Gowans, to Healy, back to James Gowans. That's too easy. Oh, kick was mown down. Well done. Picked up by Cochran. Across the body, Cochran has missed everything, has he? No, just scraped it in for one behind.
Yeah, didn't quite get the right point of the ball to snap that back, so that was a bit of a danger there. And it's just a bit of a danger for West Adelaide here. 86 plays 23 at the moment, and really they have to hold their own here and get a couple of quick goals, because we've got a good 10 minutes left of this term, and you don't want Centrals to get another 3 or 4 late ones.
We'll have the far side of the ground. Healy comes from behind, 2 grabs. Umpire says no, play on. Didn't get the first touch. Here's Graham, just trying to get through the pack and couldn't. Kasisi found his path blocked. Central still with the numbers. Might have been Bello underneath there. The umpire will come in and bounce it, regardless of who was last man up.
Again, just seeing close there. Westie's trying to get a couple of handballs away, not hitting targets. Not quite good enough for Centrals. Most of their better players, the Healys, the Gowans, Slade, they get in there, they work hard, and then they hit a target.
Graham held his man away from the ball and then couldn't get back to it before it hit the ground, so we'll get another bounce.
I can't question
or maybe a throw-up.
Can't question Westie's work rate, that is. Jeez, I'll get that out in a minute. But their work rate's excellent, but it's just a matter of hitting targets.
Get your work rate on the computer, abc.net.au/SA footy. Follow the guidelines, get your tips in. There is a prize every week, a pass to the grand final. Here's Cooney off the left. What's he like? Not good enough. Hopwood cuts it out. He immediately looks inside. Krieg waves his arm. Give it to me. Give it to me. And then in long, looking for Shell, who'll fly from behind. 2 grabs. No. Didn't quite get the hands on the ball a second time. And Westies still can't clear the area. Paul Thomas. Good strong mark. Hassan came and made him earn it, but Thomas will take the free kick. A lot of red and black Guernseys inside that forward 50. He sits it up. Watch for the leap. Nobody can successfully take the ball away. West Adelaide, hang on. Free kick, putting the arm out above the tackling player. Somewhere that's been interpreted as a free kick against Tuck. Umpire there deciding that Tuck had tried to ward off his opponent and got him high. I think that was the ruling, and Bello will take a free kick. We'll have a close look at this.
Boys, Quentin Graham has just come off the ground. He's been replaced by Sculler and called to come on, and the round of applause was actually for Ben Walton. He's just walked past all dressed up and stitched above the eye, so good to see him back and moving around.
Well, free kick was questionable. Bello's kick was anything but, or straight away. Another goal for Centrals. It's way too easy. The Doggies are just doing it so well at the moment. They look such a quality side. Another close look at this one, Tim.
Yeah, he just comes up above and then puts his hand on his face. Now, technically, yeah, that's a free kick. And I suppose I've seen a lot worse than that being called played on. But technically, that is definitely a free kick. And Marco Bello just sneaking in inside the post for another goal. As I said, Westie's work rate, you cannot question that. And poor old Benny Walton just feeling a bit worse for wear. Nice little bump on the eye there, mate. And nice bit of concussion to go with it, I'd imagine.
4 unanswered goals now in the third term to Central District. And gee, I think he's pretty unlucky, Tuck, there. I think we'd like to see
a lot of those let go.
If they're going to pay them, let's see them pay them all around the ground, but inside 50 with 25 metres out. That's not a good look, Ben Walton, is it? Down to ground. pack forming. No one can take it away. Cassisi has worked very, very hard. Gets it away to Howard. Howard kicks to Malinowski on the half volley.
3-1.
3-1 kick, that's right, Tim. You picked it perfectly. 3-1 kick, and
But I can't blame Howard. I mean, he's coming out from a pack situation. What else is there?
yeah,
Just got to look at that forward structure with Central's defence. Just worked so hard to get back and help one another.
Hopwood's kick's been smothered by Richardson. Ball goes out of bounds. Yes, there's not too much system when they go up forward, and you've got to give credit to Central's defence, don't you?
Good pressure. You know, again, Westie's work rate, that's been highlighted by the smothers. They probably had 4 or 5 smothers off the boot today. I mean, no question about their desire.
Well done by McKenzie, got it to Sotala. Here come the doggies again through Thomas. How many times has he had the football? Long kick, looking for McArdle, but working him under the footy is Rutten, who takes a nice mark.
He looks good at centre back, doesn't he?
He does look the goods. Wants Ratley, short kick. The young man takes it, goes away. The short game, Ed Richardson, good blocking off the ball by Bradshaw. Terrific work. Has paved the way for Ed Richardson. Now looking forward, Malinowski, surely not the go-to player, decides to square it up to Miles. He's in trouble, wants to go to Cooney. Oh, disposal lets him down again. He gets a second chance, goes to Norman, works his way through traffic. Long kick by Norman. Will he be able to shepherd it through? Bradshaw takes the mark. Good use of the body. Well, he could have perhaps shepherded that one through or take the mark, but I think he's done the right thing.
Yeah, look, great work by Norman just to drive it towards goal, because Bradshaw had them worked his way back, but one-on-one, Bradshaw too strong for Off to hide. He's going to have to try and come across him and jump into him right on the point of impact, because standing on their own, his frame allows him to be a lot more strong in that situation.
Has been their only multiple goal kicker today. They've only got 3, so he's got 2 of them, hoping for number 3, and Westie's 4th, and just decides to stroll around and check side it through. So good skills by Bradshaw, and Westies get their first goal since the 26-minute mark of the 3rd term. 3 goals to Bradshaw has been pretty handy up forward.
Well, he's a target, and he's something down there, but there's going to have to be a lot more. As we saw, there was a foot target missed, and there was a hand target missed, and probably West Adelaide really work on, say, 25-metre kicks, just hitting targets in play. They've missed a lot of them today.
And as you said, Tim, they're working hard. They've had 1 more possession this quarter than the Doggies have.
Was Matthew Krieg has just limped off the ground, nursing his right ankle there, a little bit ginger on it. Daniel Healy back on.
Well, we'll see if Central's will respond. Howard did well, then turned into trouble. Great smother. They work it clear again. Here's Slade. Will they respond? From 45 metres, Slade, no, minor score.
Well, Matthew Slade kicked one like that in the 2nd term beautifully, and I would have backed him in to do that again. He would be disappointed with himself, but again, how much cleaner are the hands of Central's in close? And, you know, the Gowans boys, I must admit that they haven't had big days by their standards, but every time they get it, they don't waste it. And Krieg is a bit ginger. Have a look at that. It's a bit of a blow for them, because he's been an excellent player.
Certainly has. Ball about to come back into play.
Top ball getter on the ground at this stage. Krieg, 12 kicks, 10 handballs.
Cooney, short kick to a contest again. Hassan at the back. They go inboard. James Gowans. Well, loose players everywhere at half forward for the Doggies. And the hair looking a bit dishevelled there.
Fingers have gone through there a few times, I reckon.
Oh, well, he's got a young side, has Sean Wren. And they've showed a bit today, but what they are lacking is experience, a little bit of class, and Central Districts have certainly got that. James Gowans to line up for his first goal of the afternoon. Right on 50, good-looking kick. These boys can play, don't you worry, Chris and James Gowans. There is plenty of skill in those twins. And goal number 1 to James Gowans.
Very professional outfit. Just here, Bello, that's an excellent effort. Got a fist to it, which then created an opportunity for their forward line, because it wasn't there beforehand. It was nearly going to be marked by Hassan, and great effort just to get the fist on it, push it over the back where he knew they had numbers, because they set up their zone so well.
70 points the margin. West Adelaide, now it becomes really embarrassing as we edge towards 3/4 time. Howard from the centre, this time the left footer works, gets it out in front of Bradshaw. Bradshaw can't take the mark, off to Hyde with a good punch, recovers quickly. Hand pass then off to Thomas, who's running off half back. Thomas down towards half forward, McArdle the target. 3 men come to spoil him. One of them for Central's peels away in Slade. Now Healy caught, gone. Good call, Tim. Good early call. And
Scotty Hahn just wanted to make sure that he knew that he got him holding the ball. Just wanted to tell him. It's right at the body. Great tackle.
not happened too often. Richardson spoiled. Umpire didn't like how he did it. So free kick there. Swatala.
Well, you told Sammy. Well, you told, yeah. Well,
that would be Krieg, I imagine, would it? Down on the ground.
Yeah, Matthew Krieg just getting a lot of work on that left thigh there, so a bit of a knock to the driver.
Well, maybe he might be absent for the Anzac Day game, but Simon Arnott should be back for Centrals. So the ball tied up on the far side of the ground at half forward for Centrals. They do it well. Richard Cochrane that time applying the tackle. 60 points the margin, and well and truly into time on, getting towards three-quarter time.
Another bounce. Big pack of players. Up they go, thumped away. Ball kicked back in by Centrals. Loose ball, Rutten. He's got the run of the footy, ran into the brick wall. Well done. Westies clear it out. Miles, out of half-back. Just clever enough to get around, playing his 100th. Hasn't been too bad a one either. Chubb. Away they go. A bounce to Miles, who followed it up. Well played. Sprints away. The kick was less than perfect. Looking for Bradshaw, but didn't get enough of it. Hopwood took the mark to Steinburner. He's got a man in Tyson Hay who's drifted forward. Cooney chasing him. Long kick by Hay. High ball. Who can take the mark? McKenzie was there. Great thump away by poor Fleischer. He goes in after the footy again. Ratley was there. In goes Glover. Good kick. Spotted Piasanti. And Piasanti from half-back as the siren goes for three-quarter time. A 70-point lead to Central District. They kicked 5 goals to 1 in that term. And they really have looked the goods this afternoon, Tim Geneva. It has been a great performance by them. And that man, Chris Chubb, he's tried pretty hard, but the odds have been well and truly against him.
Yeah, and things probably could have been even better for Centrals had they missed a couple of goals that were reasonably easy to execute, but they've been fantastic again in close, and all their midfield, Bello, Slade, the 2 Gowans, really lifted and just made sure that this result was going to be beyond doubt. Excellent performance by them. Westies held in there as long as they could in that third term, but you always knew the floodgates were going to open up.
And James Gowan's been one of the real stars for Centrals this afternoon. Good vision, good alert.
Very unselfish players. They get in there to do all the hard stuff like this, and then they can finish off as well. And that's beautiful roving, that. Hitting a ball at top pace, front and centre, delivers. Getting on the end of a handball, gives off. Finished off by Swatala. And they just run and run and run the Central side. Always got options around the footy.
And the things that they do well, the shepherds and the blocks, the things that the coaches like to see, the 1%ers, they've been important all day, haven't they?
Yeah, like I said, Westies have been great at it, trying their hardest, but Centrals, I reckon, are probably the best in the league at it. And just at it and at it and at it all the time. Performing, tackling in close. That was a nasty one. But really good in close with their hands as well. Good tackling by Westies. Look at this, bang, pirouette, beautiful football. And Sam McCuddle made sure he did not miss the target.
That's the thing, it's turned over the ball and it's made life fairly easy, I guess, for the Centrals boys. They'll be looking forward to Anzac Day. It's only a few days away, a relatively short week. Centrals to play Sturt, and joining us now is a digger, a veteran of World War II, Robert Howlett. And Bill, as you're known, congratulations on serving Australia. What was it like? You've got all your medals there.
Yes, well, I was asked to do that, so that's the reason I've done it.
Right, so Bill, what does Anzac Day mean for you? What is it like as an experience?
It's a great deal of emotion, and a lot of memories, and a lot of remembrance for all the blokes that were killed around me.
And
I considered myself very lucky.
Yes, well, you got through the war by serving in the Pacific and on the HMAS Australia. It talked about mateship on the ship. Was there much time for anything but the war?
No, nothing else but mateship, and that's the greatest part that's still carried on to this day.
Well, Bill, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, you've been a Sturt fan since you were 5. How did you get roped into that?
My parents were great followers all their life, and so were all my aunts. It was a family thing, so nothing else could happen.
And Bill, what about Anzac Day? Do you enjoy going down to the football after the match?
I'm going to find it very hard now that background sound is...
Yeah, do you enjoy going to the football on Anzac Day after the march?
I beg your pardon?
Do you enjoy going down to Anzac Day and to go down to the Adelaide Oval after the march, Bill? Now, he's obviously having trouble, but Bill...
I'm having trouble with my earpiece. OK, I'm right.
OK, you're right again.
Yes.
Anzac Day and going down to the Adelaide Oval after the march, is that something you really look forward to?
Oh, most definitely. Especially this year, Sturt are playing Central's the two great teams from last year.
Well, let's hope for your sake it's a double Blues win. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. And a reminder that next week, or at least next Friday, that will be Anzac Day, as Bill was just talking about. Sturt against Central at the Adelaide Oval, straight there after the march for the Diggers, and it's great that we remember them in such a fashion. And of course, Sturt against Central, the grand finalists from last year. There's something to prove for the Bulldogs against Tim, and then on Saturday, a double header, because on Saturday we have North against the Eagles at Prospect as our matches of the weekend.
Pretty good round of football, isn't it? And you can get down to Adelaide Oval, Norwood Oval, Prospect, Richmond, and see a good game of football in this round that will be round 5 of SANFL.
Well, it's been a hard battle for Westies this afternoon. We're going to go down and have a listen to the huddle.
Because it'd be a shame to let go what this club's put in place for 2 games. It's been a bad day. Come on, let's go out there and finish it. Come on. Go big boy.
Well, Sean Wren there, obviously not very happy with the way things are going. What he's done is actually lined the side up how they started. So for the whole game so far, they've been responding to Central Districts, who have been on top, gone back to the original structure and said to the boys, let's play the way we wanted to play when we started the game, Neil.
Thanks for that, Side, as well. Task in front, Michael Flynn. Gentleman on the left there, and Sean Wren. Obviously a lot to think about over the next few days.
Yeah, I think they'll be very disappointed with the amount of football that they've actually missed their teammates with, and that's the most disappointing thing. Obviously last week at Woodville Oval against the Eagles, they were far better with their disposal, because today, with the big open spaces, you would have thought that they would have been able to hit more targets.
Soda's got Paul Patterson, the reserves coach from Westies, with him.
Pato, a disappointing day so far. What's Sean Wren looking to salvage from this final term?
I think we're just going to go back to our original structure, and we just need someone to stand up and try something different. The thing that we haven't had someone has just put their hand up and wanted to change the course of the game. Centrals have outplayed us. They've certainly beaten us in possessions.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Paul Patterson there. Played some football with the Adelaide Football Club, as well as many a game with the West Adelaide Football Club. And like Damien Hicks, late in his career, doing his knee and managing to recover and get back onto the football field. Last quarter just about to start here at Elizabeth. And here's Michael Maney.
70 points the difference. They've got a fair margin out there, so West Adelaide looking for a bit of pride in the last term. Just waiting for the umpire to get the all clear. Just about to go, and they have lined up with Dom Cassisi on the bench, so he started the day on the bench, and if Sean Wren is true to his word, he'll have Cassisi on the bench. Anyway, underway, last term. Up goes Schooler, knocked it down. Krieg, who's recovered from that injury, to Cochrane. Cochrane's kick up forward. Ed Richardson fills the hole. Well played. It falls to him now. Tries to get it to Norman. Goes further, but is chopped off by Cochrane. Kick inside 50. McArdle's on his own and takes the mark. And it's all too easy. Ed Richardson had Norman, I think it was there, just the short handball, but decided to go long and just turned the footy over. And McArdle, who's kicked 1 in that 3rd term, lining up for goal number 2.
He's recovered from his knee injury, okay, by the looks of him.
Just working into a bit of form. McArdle, point-blank range. It's out to 76 points. Goal number 2 to Sam McArdle.
That's a good start for Centrals. That's exactly what they would have wanted. Roy Laird would have said, just get on with the job. Just keep going, persisting. Front and centre work by Slade again. Ed Richardson had to get a handball away. And Cochrane all day. McArdle there. Easy target, easy goal. But West Adelaide, on the other hand, they would have been said themselves, well, let's win a quarter of football. Let's at least go away from Elizabeth with 1 quarter of victory.
Well, Sean Wren opting to go back to his original structure, saying let's try and start again. Well, they've started pretty much the same way they started the first quarter. Daniel Schell kicking a goal in the first minute of the game, or in the second minute of the game, and then McArdle starting this final term by kicking a goal in the first minute of the final term.
Tackling's been excellent by both sides, and
Centrals have come out of this sort of stoppage area a lot better. They're at centre-half forward now. Let's see what they can do this occasion.
Ball down. A couple of Westies players knock it towards Hahn. He couldn't take possession. Krieg was good. Then off the right leg, Healy. McArdle in good position, but behind his opponent. Umpire.
He's going to play the man in front. It's the oldest rule, I believe.
Ed Richardson. Very much aware of the rule. Expected to take the mark and did. Now he's faced with a lot of one-on-one battles further down the ground and not many safe options. Takes the shortest of passes to Nathan. Quickly overlapped by Porplisha. Porplisha's kick wasn't too bad.
Now that's
well done.
much better, isn't it? Real good, quick movement.
So Fisher turns around. Sam Fisher belts it inside 50. Good chance and well, umpire called play on. I was going to say Bradshaw. Good chance and a good mark in the end. He gets the conciliatory, shall we say, free kick.
Might have been a make-up one because it's a mark. There's no doubt about that. It's a blatant mark. And the umpire had two thoughts about it and then said, here's a free kick just to make up for that bad decision.
Well, this does have some feel of the opening term. Bradshaw kicked a goal for Westies, their opening goal of the match, so perhaps he can repeat history here.
Just like the way they moved it off of half-back, took the mark, played on immediately. They haven't done a lot of that today, West Adelaide. Held on to it, and then that's allowed the midfield to run down. Have a look at this view to goal for Bradshaw.
Don't know if you caught that, but
he's been accurate.
Even the umpires, the goal umpires, now getting into a bit of sponsorship. Maybe in those sunglasses. Bradshaw's kick was pretty ordinary off the outside of the foot. Minor score.
Well, he's been their one saving grace in front of goal, and now he's joined the club in kicking it behind.
Did you say he's been accurate, Tim? I thought I might have heard you just whisper that a moment ago.
At 10-8 before today, so...
I said had.
Yep, well done. Got out of that one beautifully. Steinburner hoping to take the Bullies out of trouble. The kick was good to Tyson Hay in front of Hassan. Tyson Hay, one of their Dow defenders, loves to run off. Short kick, Swatala. Decides to lay it off to Steinburner. Not a good option.
He had no chance, did he?
Well, a free kick went back to Steinburner. Grab without the footy. Away he goes to Healy. Down the line. Healy, McArdle on a long lead. Oh, well done, Krieg. Just got his body in the way. Takes a bit of courage to do that, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
Yeah, well done, Richardson, too. Attacked at 100 mile an hour, got it out of bounds. A reset play.
Well, he doesn't lack anything, Ed Richardson. It's boots and all for him. Up goes Miles and his 100th.
Yeah, there it is.
Not a memorable one. Taken by Thomas to Coulter. Running with the flight at centre-half forward. On the mark is Ed Richardson. Looks to the forward line. They're all manned up. And he'll bomb probably long and look for a lead. Or look for a mark to Daniel Shell. Shell breaks now. This way, that away. But Coulter's pretty keen on having a shot. No, he's not. Decides to go in short. Porplisha, well played. McArdle was on the lead. No one can take the footy. McArdle just downs Porplisha. Loose ball. Piasanti got it out to Cooney. Will he get a boo? No boos in that one. They've forgiven him. Cooleritis.
Target again.
Yep, they did. Schooler somehow got it to Cochran. Away to Thomas. High ball. McArdle was on his own. Decides to go to McKenzie. Can't take the mark. Over the back. Chris Gowans. Inside 50 and closing. Short kick finds McArdle. Too easy.
Well, they make it look easy, but he was under the pump as he disposed of it. Chris Gowans still hits his target.
Got one on the side of the head too.
Yeah. Watch this. Bang. But disposes of it beautifully, hits his target. That's the difference. Young Cooney, great little player. I think he's got a great future, but today, too often, just these short little 25 metres, just haven't hit their targets.
McArdle's got a couple of goals, including one in this term. And he might have pushed that right, has he? Crowd like it.
Just missed it.
Just pushed it right.
And that's a good thing, I suppose, for Sean Wren to take out of today is all these young lads that have had a real dip but missed targets. Just work at those things at training. You can fix that. As Sam McArdle can fix that as well, because he normally would nail that pretty easily. Took it a bit easy and sat back on the kick, I believe.
Boys, Matthew Slater's come off the ground. He's been replaced by James Gowans.
Hahn just in a bit of space at the defensive 50. Westies moving at least. He's tucked under the ball. Just taken away from it by McKenzie. He'll be rewarded with a free kick.
I think they say when you've got no intention for the footy, then they give a free kick, but yeah, was one of those tickly touchwood ones again.
Shane Tuck, by the looks of that, is liking the option of a torp. In the end, he obviously goes short. Piacenti in trouble.
Yeah.
Whack, taken from behind. Oh, umpire said he got out a hand pass. That was the indication from the umpire in control, Richard Williams, who will now take possession for a bounce. Just how legal was it? Well, it was, I suppose. He got out some sort of a hand pass, fashioned it under heavy pressure from James Gowan.
Good decision to play it on because it was almost in the back as well.
Oh, well, they get forward to the play. Get the ball down there through Ratley. Ratley goes in long, looking for the very strong competition of Bradshaw. Bradshaw, however, gets the ball taken away from him. Off to Hyde, pushed in the back as he kicked. Umpire said play on. Hopwood followed up. His kick wasn't the best. They'll still find a player, though. Thomas. Oh, they're lining up on the outer wing. Cochrane will go over the top to McKenzie. That's certainly the option. McKenzie gets there just. Heavy clash of bodies. Ed Richardson made a few yards to get there. Still in dispute. Please, it's over. Yes, out on the full, though. So a free kick to Westies. They'll have a chance. They're 76 points down. Just a score from Encounter Bay. South Adelaide playing in their recruiting zone, but down by 72 points to Sturt. So good preparation for Centrals and Sturt for Anzac Day.
Certainly is. Tuck took the mark, bombed it long. There's our game for next week. Sturt and Central Districts will be a beauty.
Two informed sides, aren't they, at the moment? Central's having a big win here and Sturt having a big win at Encounter Bay. A pair of them will be wanting to test one another out at Adelaide Oval.
There'll be plenty on in that game, that is for sure. And at half-time, we've got a grand final special where we're just looking back on exactly what happened last year in the grand final, so much to look forward to. It's a big pack of players on the outer side of the ground. West Adelaide have tried this tactic and just blocking it up. They've been effective in doing it, but when they've got the footy, they've won the footy, they've turned it over. That's been the big problem for them this afternoon. Kick inside 50, high ball, up goes Swatala, takes the mark, and immediately just bounces away. Long kick by Swatala. He'd love to have it back because he's picked out Cooney. Now Cooney's got a bit of toe. How's he going to use the footy this time? Good looking kick to Bradshaw.
Well done. That's the way to do it. Just, it's so hard in football to get hold of it. And when you get hold of it, use it. Great work, Bello, off the deck.
Yeah, they do it so much better around the packs. I mean, there's another breakdown situation where they were just in the right place and able to finish.
Healy finished with 3 straight. Brilliant kicking for goal. And good work there by Centrals again, just being front and centre. Pressure on McCardle on the end of this one. Goes back and makes a certain goal from 12 metres out. Look at this for a leap from Daniel Shell, who had a great game, really. I mean, 3-7, he was just lost complete confidence in front of goal by the end of the day. But 10 shots at goal and creating havoc. Got to be happy with the game itself.
Well, let's see what the doggies' voices are like, and let's probably gauge from this just how much they've enjoyed the afternoon. I'd say, just as a guess, we've got a problem with sound down there at the moment. Very satisfied Roy Laird, coach in his first season at Centrals as a senior coach, and we just looked there, 7 goals to 2 in the opening term, really set up what was a powerful performance by the doggies.
Yeah, the first and third quarters really did the damage, and they were outstanding in both of those, but just a good consistent performance across the whole day. And Westies, a lot to work on, some good kids, a lot of potential down there, but they must work on their disposal.
Well, clearly Darren Bradshaw's made the most of what limited opportunities he was really presented with, kicking 4 goals.
Yeah, it was 6 goals, and you know, he gets 4 of them. It's a pretty good performance, isn't it?
And for Central's, Marco Bello, Daniel Shell, Daniel Healy, it goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, they share it around. They're so unselfish in front of goal. Nobody's, if you've run, you're going to get rewarded in this side.
Question, the 82 handballs for Westies, is that an indication that really they didn't have that run through half-back to be able to work up their game?
Every time Centrals took a mark in the midfield, it was given off straight away to run and get over lines. Westies held up the ball a little bit too long with the slow decision-making.
In the end, they dominated, didn't they? Getting inside 50, 45 times to 36. And just if you've just joined us, this was an ugly result of, I think, what wasn't certainly intended by Adam Cooney, the West Adelaide player, coming in, deciding he was going to hip it shoulder. And Adam Walton going down at the wrong time and really copped it in the head, didn't he?
Yeah, having played a bit of football and seeing guys get knocked out, you knew instantly that he was gone. The arms go stiff, and I just thought, gee, I hope there's no permanent damage done here. And fortunately for Ben, he came up afterwards and showered up and had a nasty cut across his eye and was sewn up and a bit of concussion. But the good thing is his neck's okay.
Well, it seems like, apart from the zipper above the eye, everything seems to be okay, and we certainly hope that he recovers, and who knows, maybe he'll be able to play on Anzac Day. Sturt, good preparation for Anzac Day. We don't have a final score at the moment. The last score I had Sturt by 104 points over South Adelaide. We're going down to Sodas now. He's in the Central's rooms.
Thanks, Neil. Well, a very happy Roy Laird has taken all his charges straight behind closed doors. No doubt to praise them on what has been a very clinical performance today by Central Districts.
Thanks for that. Well, Roy Laird, obviously a few things to say behind closed doors. Perhaps let's not get carried away.
I mean, it's good to grab the players immediately after a game. You've sung the song, sit down and go through a couple of little points and say, OK, now the plan for the next week is going to be this. We've got a short week. Yeah. We'll probably do these things on these days. Keep yourself right. Don't drink too much tonight.
Yes, well, what do you think, Roy Laird? Will we saying Sodas?
Well, I think he will be very happy. It was a four-quarter performance. Sean Wren opting to go with his original structure in that final term, but it was already done and dusted by that stage. So I think Roy will be very happy. He praised Matthew Slade in the first quarter, saying it's the best start he's seen to him having a game. So I think it'll be only good news, especially after that game where they did throw away perhaps a possible victory against Norwood a couple of weeks ago.
Well, one of the many clubs you've played for, of course, was Sturt, and Sturt well and truly victors this afternoon. It sets up an intriguing contest on Anzac Day.
Well, it should be. I think the Double Blues have started well. A good win against South Adelaide today. But I think, look, the Bulldogs wanting to get over the top of last year when they did go down to the Double Blues. So the Bulldogs are no doubt very hungry to get Sturt next week.
Hope you're hungry to get your tips in too. The weekly winners receive a double pass to the 2003 SANFL Grand Final. We'll see the 2002 SANFL Grand Finalists, of course, on Anzac Day. Get your tips in at abc.net.au/SA Footy. And gee, I'm really looking forward to Anzac Day.
It's going to be a beauty. I mean, it's one of the days I think you really want to play football as well. It's a mark of respect. And you know that people who have been in the wars come down and watch the game after the march, and you just don't want to put in a poor performance. And you really want to show your respect as a player. Make sure you perform. Make sure you win.
Did you, off the top of your head, how many times did you play on Anzac Day?
Ooh, lots. Over 15 years. I think we only missed out twice on Anzac Day. So, you know, I'd probably played at least a dozen there. And, you know, always had a very good game or a win.
So 2:45, that's special time for the Anzac Day game. Sturt versus Central, live from the Adelaide Oval. Norwood and South later that night at 7:40 p.m. at the Norwood Oval, Norwood against South. Then on Saturday afternoon from 2:30, we're off to Prospect to see North against the Eagles. Westies will need to bounce back against Glenelg next week.
Certainly will, don't they? And, you know, it's an opportunity for them at home then to regather and practice all the things that they did wrong this week.
So Central's by 70 points this afternoon here at Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you from 2:45 on Friday afternoon.